an amazing day today. My viewer count. Okay. That's okay. Today we are reading chapter 3, 4, and 5 today. They're kind of shorter chapters, but I'm basing it off of how last stream went with these. Because it got pretty chaotic in here. Hi, Rio.
Who wants to play video games?
So I'm just basing off how it was the last stream, how chaotic it was, while filing it through 3 chapters, even though they are short chapters. Yeah. I have my chapstick. I have my tea, which is very hot because we just made it. And I am sorry for being 15 minutes late. Some things happened when I was supposed to start streaming. And I have my iceless water, because I learned the hard way. Do not put ice in water that you are supposed to be streaming with. Because, your throat ends up hurting a lot more if you drink ice cold water instead of, just plain water. We are going to get right into it. I really appreciate it. Okay, also another thing I really like about this book, it has a built-in little bookmark thingy. So I really love that part of it. We actually might be able to get through a little bit of it without being interrupted. Like last time. Yay! And 3, yes. I think Winter has a 15-day streak, I think. Yeah. Wait, you got it back? Wait, what do you mean you got it back? Oh, I like the needle emoji thing. Oh. You missed one stream. It probably wasn't like the... I did like a 3 a.m. stream one time. I don't know, it might have been that one. It perhaps, I don't know. I don't remember. Let's get into it. Chapter 3. Okay, let me know if my audio is good also. That makes sense. Let me know if my audio is good while I read also, because I feel like it might be kind of facing away from it, because I have one of these things. I can't see it. These things on it. And that could be why the audio is a little odd if I face away from it. So that could be the reason, but let me know how my audio is. I think it was you that told me my audio was a bit quiet, or was it Curly? It's either you or Curly, I'm pretty sure. Okay. Chapter 3. At 12:30 next day, Lord Henry Wotton strolled from Curtin Street over to the Albany to call on his uncle, Lord Fermor, a genial, somewhat rough-mannered old bachelor, whom the outside word... Oh, it was Curly, okay. Sounds good. I do think I hear a fan. I think that's just my air conditioner. I think it's just... I hear it too, but it's not like a fan. I think it's just my air thing, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it just stopped, so. Whom the outside world called selfish because it derived no particular benefit from him, but who was considered generous by society as he fed the people who amused him. His father had been our ambassador of Madrid when Isabel was young and prim, although unthought of, but he had retired from the diplomatic service of a capricious moment of annoyance, not being offered the embassy of Paris, a post of which he considered that he was fully entitled by reason of his birth. His indolence, the good English of his dispatches, and his inordinate passion for pleasure, the son who had been his father's secretary had resigned along with his chief, somewhat foolish as was thought at the time, and sorry, she knocked into you. On succeeding some months later to the title, had set himself up to the serious study of the great aristocratic art of doing absolutely nothing. He had 2 large townhouses, but preferred to live in chambers, as it was less trouble. He took most of his meals at the club. He paid some attention to the business, of his collieries in the Midland country, accusing himself of this taint of industry on the ground that the one advantage of having coal was that it enabled a gentleman to afford the decency of burning wood on his own hearth. In politics, he was a Tory.
Will you give him a drink of water, for Christ's sake?
Oh no. He has arrived. He's gonna spam my alerts, I'm pretty sure. Unless you ran out of points.
Hello, how are you?
Hi,
I am
Winter.
under the water. Please help me. Here too much raining.
There, I drank my water. I have my tea too, but I think it's too hot. You can try it. That is too hot. I have something. I haven't set it up yet. It's a coffee mug warmer. I found it in my drawer. I don't know where it came from, but I just found it. I need to set this up, because halfway through my stream, I got cold tea. And I don't know where to plug it in though, so we'll also figure that out too. But yeah, I don't know where it came from. I think it's probably Amazon, I believe. I think I got it last year for Christmas, if I remember correctly. It's just been sitting in my drawer. I was literally, because I put my webcam in my drawer when I'm not using it. I just found it, like, wait, because it was like hidden in the very back. I found it, so we're gonna. Yeah, I don't really like coffee. I love like frozen coffee though. Frozen coffee is pretty good. Yeah. But I just don't like warm coffee. Like I used to always drink warm coffee, but like in like middle school and like high school until like sophomore year-ish. But I don't know. I missed the fit check. You didn't do a fit check. Did you do a fit check? Did I just miss it? I do not see a fit check in here. I do not do a fit check. I do not, at the very start, it says you played it. No. I checked it beforehand. This is, that was just me checking it. Can you not do it then? I don't know if you can try to play it. I just tested it out, so I don't know. Cause I changed it. Cause there's like a test button. So I set the test button, so I think that's just what it was. I don't think it. I just don't. Yes! Okay, it does work! And I made it so that's every hour you can do it. As per Winter's request. I'm very upset right now because my mom washed my sweater. I mean, not washed my sweater, she dried my sweater, and now it's a little shorter, and I'm very sad about it. But it's still my favorite sweater. But, yeah. No bugs! It was like 2 inches short, like it was like this length before. And it was like this before. Now it's like this. Now it fits how it's supposed to fit. No, I like the oversized sweater. It has ladybugs on it. Yeah. You can see. It has ladybugs. Yes, it is very cute. It's my favorite sweater. My son's dad got it for me. For Christmas. One of my Christmas things. Okay, let's get back into the... This is what I meant earlier, but things get off topic. I guess too, what I do. I could do that. I might do that. I don't want to ruin it though. I feel like that will ruin it. Just like an expensive sweater. It's like $50, I think. I don't know. It was from Hot Topic, or... No, it was... Yeah, it was Hot Topic. It's my favorite collection from Hot Topic. It's like the Thorn and Fable collection. So I believe it's like $50 or $60. Yeah. Okay. Let's get back into it. The son who has been his father's secretary had resigned along with his chief somewhat foolishly, as was thought at the time, and on succeeding some months later to the title, had set himself to the serious study of the great aristocratic study of doing absolutely nothing. He had 2 large townhouses and preferred to live in chambers, as it was less trouble and took most of his meals at the club. He paid some attention to the management of his collieries in the Midland counties, excusing himself for the taint of industry of the ground. That one advantage of having coal was that it enabled a gentleman to afford the decency of burning wood on his own hearth. In politics he was a Tory, except for when the Tories were in office, during which period he roundly abused them for being a pack of radicals. He was a hero to his valet, who bullied him, and a terror to most of his relations, whom he bullied in turn. Only England could have produced him. And he always said that the country was going to the dogs. His principles were out of date, but there was a good deal to said for the prejudices. Hi, Luna! How are you doing? When Lord Henry entered the room, he found his uncle sitting in a rough shooting coat, smoking a cheroot, and grumbling over the times. "Well, Harry," said the old gentleman, "what brings you out so early? I thought you dandies never get up till 2, and were not viable till 5. Not visible till 5. Pure family affection, I assure you, Uncle George. I want to get something out of you. Money, I suppose?" said Lord Femler, making a weary face. "Well, sit down and tell me all about it. Young people nowadays imagine that money is everything." "Yes," murmured Lord Henry, setting his buttonholes in his coat. "But when they grow older, they know, and I don't want money. It is only people who pay their bills who want this. Want that, Uncle George, and I never pay mine. Credit is the capital of a youngest son, and one lives charmingly upon it. Besides, I always deal with Dartmoor's tradesmen, and consequently they never bother me. What I want is information, not useful information, of course, useless information, not useful information, of course, useless information." Ooh, ooh. This is my favorite book. I have 3 copies. I can show you my other 2 copies. Where are they? Oh, they're on the floor right now. Okay, we're gonna ignore that they're just sitting on the floor. I have the uncensored picture of Dorian Gray. I also have my first copy of it, which was the Penguin's cloth-bound edition, picture of Dorian Gray. I love the symbolism with the peacock feathers also. I also love this one because that's an amazing, what's the word? It has an amazing introduction in this one. I believe anyone who reads Picture of Dorian Gray for the first time should read this one. Well, I did, so. Yeah. It's also so pretty, too. I don't like that it gets dirty very quickly, though. Because it's cloth, okay, so I'm just saying, like, they always say on my backpack for school. But, yeah. It's really hard to clean this because it's cloth. But I am reading this edition, which I believe Curly picked out this edition. Very, very pretty. I really want to get the, graphic novel version of it. I saw it at Barnes & Noble one time. I have the 1984, yes. I have the 1984 one, the graphic novel, and I need the yeah, I asked him which of the 3 he was most interested in me reading. I think he picked the pretty one. Yeah, he picked the pretty one. Yeah, and I think he just picked it because of the gold. Yeah. Okay, let's get back into it. This is how, like, all my reading streams recently have been going. I just keep getting distracted. But, yeah, I also have my tea. It is white orange spiced tea with, I ran out of honey, so there's no honey, unfortunately. But it is, sugar and milk. Well, I can tell you anything that is in an English Blue book. Harry, although those fellows nowadays write a lot less I cannot read right now. Although those fellows nowadays write a lot of nonsense. When I was in the diplomatic, things were much better. But I hear they let them in now by examination. What can you expect? Examinations, sir, are pure humbug, from beginning to end. If a man is a gentleman, he knows quite well enough. If he is not a gentleman, whatever he knows is bad for him. Mr. Dorian Gray does not belong to Blue Books, Uncle George, said Lord Henry languidly. Mr. Dorian Gray does... Okay, I don't know why I just repeated the same thing. Mr. Dorian Gray? Who is he? Said Lord Fenmore, knitting his bushy white eyebrows. This is what I have come to learn, Uncle George, or rather, I know who he is. He is the last Lord Kelso's grandson. He is the last Lord Kelso's grandson. His mother was a Devereux, Lady Margaret Devereux. I want you to tell me about his mother. What was she like? Whom did she marry? You have known nearly everybody in your time, so you might have known her. I am very much interested in Mr. Gray at present. I have only just met him. Mr. Kelso's grandson? Echoed the old gentleman. Kelso's grandson? Of course. I knew his mother intimately. I believe I was at her christening. She was an extraordinarily beautiful girl, Margaret Devereux, and made all the men frantic by running away with a penniless young fellow. A mere nobody, sir. Salberton in a foot regiment, or something of that kind. Certainly, I remember the whole thing as it happened yesterday. The poor chap was killed in a duel at Spa a few months after their marriage. There's an ugly story about it. They said Kelso got some rascal adventurer, some Belgian brute who insults his son-in-law in public, paid him, sir, to do it. Paid him, and that fellow spitted his man as if he had been a pigeon. The thing was hushed up, but Kelso ate his chops alone in the club for some time afterwards. He brought his daughter back with him, I was told, and she never spoke to him again. Oh yes, it was a bad business. The girl died too, died within a year. So she left a son, did she? I had forgotten that. What sort of boy is he? If he is like his mother, he must be a good-looking chap. He's very good-looking, asserted Lord Henry. I hope he will fall into proper hands, continued the old man. He should have a pot of money waiting for him if Kelso did the right thing by him. His mother had money too. That Shelby property came to her throughout her grandfather. Her grandfather hated Kelso, though. Thought him a mean dog. He too came to Madrid once I was there. I was ashamed of him. The Queen used to ask me about that English noble, who had always quarrelled with the cabmen about their fares. They made quite a story of it. I don't dare show my face at court for months. I hope he treats his grandson better than he did the Jarvises. I don't know, answered Lord Henry. I fancy the boy will be well off. He is not of age yet. He has Shelby. I know, he told me. And his mother was very beautiful. Margaret Delavoir was one of the loveliest creatures I ever saw, Harry. What on earth induced her to behave as she did? I never could understand. She could have married anybody she chose. Carlton was mad about her. She was romantic, though. All the women of the family were. The men were a poor lot, but the women were wonderful. Carlton went on his knees to her, told me so himself. She laughed at him, and there wasn't a girl in London by the time she wasn't after him. Elliot, there wasn't a girl in London at the time who wasn't after him. And by the way, Harry, talking about silly marriages, what is this humbug your father tells me about Demore wanting to marry an American? Ain't English girls good enough for him? It's rather fashionable to marry Americans just now, Uncle George. I'll back English women against the world, Harry, said Lord Fenmore, striking the table with his fist. The betting is on the Americans. They don't last, I am told, muttered his uncle. A long engagement exhausts them, but they are capital at the steeplechase. They take things flying. I don't think Dorma has a chance. Who are her people? Grumbled the old gentleman. Has she got any? Old Henry shook his head. American girls are as clever as concealing as their parents. At concealing their parents. As English women are at concealing their past, he said, rising to go. They are pork packers, I suppose. I hope so, Uncle George, for Dartmouth's sake. I am told pork packing is the most lucrative profession in America. After politics. It's okay. I was gonna say, use channel points. I'm really excited to get further in this book. Hope Tex-Mex is here when we get further in. I'm also gonna drink my tea whenever I get that also. I hope so, Uncle George, for Dartmouth's sake. I am told that pork packing is the most lucrative profession in America after politics. Is she pretty? I'm not gonna... Channel money? Well, that's why I added the little channel points. That's why I added the little water channel point button. It's only for 5 minutes. And you can, if by the time that, if you're typing a lot, you'll get enough points to get in water every 5 minutes. Is she pretty? She behaves as if she was beautiful. Most American women do. It is the secret of their charm. Why can't these American women stay in their own country? They're always telling us that it's a paradise for women. It is. That certainly is the reason why, like Eve, they are so excessively anxious to get out of it, said Lord Henry. Goodbye, Uncle George. I shall be late for lunch. If I stop any longer... Thanks for getting... I read that in the wrong... Okay. I shall be late for lunch if I stop any longer. Thanks for giving me the information I wanted. I always like to know everything about my new friends, nothing about my old ones. Where are you lunching, Harry? At Aunt Agatha's. I have asked myself and Mr. Gray. He's her latest protege. Tell your Aunt Agatha, Harry, not to bother with me any more for charity appeals. I'm sick of them. Why the good women think that I have nothing to do but to write checks for her silly fads. All right, Uncle George, I'll tell her, but I won't have any effect. Philanthropic people lose all sense of humanity. What is their distinguishing characteristic? The old gentleman growled approvingly and rang the bell for his servant. Lord Henry passed up the low arcade into Burlington Street and turned his steps to the direction of Berkeley Square. So had the story of Dorian Gray's parentage, crudely as it had been told to him, he had yet stirred him by the suggestion of a strange, almost modern romance. A beautiful woman risking everything for a mad passion. A few wild weeks of happiness cut short by a hideous, treacherous crime. Months of voiceless agony, and then a child born in pain, going snatched away by death. The boy left in solitude and the tyranny of an old and loveless man. Yes, it was interesting background. It posed the lad made him much more perfect, as it were. Behind every exquisite thing that existed, there is always something tragic. Worlds have been in trivial that the meanest flower might blow, and how charming he had been at dinner the night before, as with startling eyes and lips parted in a frightened pleasure had sat opposite him at the club. The red candle shades staining the richer rose and the wakening wonders of his face. Talking to him was like playing upon an exquisite violin. He entered to every touch and thrill of the bow. There is something terribly enthralling in the exercise of influence. No other activity was like it. To project one's soul into some gracious form and let it tarry there for a moment, to hear one's own intellectual views echoed back into one with all the added music of passion and youth, to convey. Thank you. I have definitely improved a lot since my first reading stream. I like all, like, I've also read this book many times, so I think that also has something to do with it also. Because, like, for example, when I was reading The Poppy War, I was very slow at it, because it was also my first time reading through it, so I wanted to digest all of it, you know? This one, I already know everything about this book. I just really wanted to read it. Because, with all the, what's it called? The, like, the, public domain books, this is the one that I know the best. So, I want to start with this one. I was thinking I also have Frankenstein. I think that would be a fun one, because it's also, like, a horror book also. Because I know Tex-Mex has been, like, requesting horror books. There's also some other books I can read, too. I feel like after we read this one, I can do a little poll on my TikTok. Or on here. I can also do a poll on here, also. For the next book. I think I'll do a poll on here. That'll make more sense. For my next book, I can pick out a couple from the public domain list. Yeah, so any book that was published before 1923, or any that the author has died in the last 70 years, I can read. So, yeah. Let's get back into it. I'm gonna trip up my reading it now because of what you said. There is no other activity like it, to project one's soul into some gracious form and let it tarry there for a moment to hear one's own intellectual views echoed back to one of all the added music of passion and youth, to convey one's temperaments into another as those of subtle fluid or a strange perfume. There is a real joy in that, perhaps the most satisfying joy left to us in an age so limited and vulgar in its own, an age grossly carnal in its pleasures and grossly common in its aims. He was a marvelous type, too, this lad, whom by so curious a chance he had met in Basil's studio, or could be fashioned into a marvelous type. At any rate, grace was his, and the white purity of boyhood. The beauty such as an old Greek marble is left for us. There was nothing that no one. And now I'm tripping on my words because he said I was reading quite fast. There was nothing that one could not do with him. He could be made a titan or a toy. What a pity it was that such beauty was destined to fade in Basil. From a psychological point of view, how interesting he was, the new manner in art, the fresh mode of looking at life, suggested so strangely by the merely visible presence of one who was unconscious of it all. The silent spirited that dwelled in dim woodlands, and walked unseen in open fields, suddenly showing herself, dryad-like, and not afraid, because of his soul. So dryads are from, like, Greek mythology, and they're, like, tree nymphs, I believe. Yes, they are. It says it on the bottom of the page. That's also why I really love this edition. It tells you what the things are. Okay, I'm, like, really putting this in a weird angle. Like, for example, on this page, it tells you, it marks it in the page, like, what, like, if it's, some people may not know. I really like that. So dryads, like, wood nymphs in Greek mythology. Suddenly showing herself dryad-like and not afraid. Because of his soul who sought for her, there has been awakened in this wonderful vision, of which alone the wonderful things revealed, in mere shapes and patterns of things becoming as if it were refined and getting a kind of symbolic value, as though they were themselves patterns of some other kind in more perfect form than shadows that they had been made real. How strange it all was. He remembered something like He remembered something like it is in history. Was it not Plato? I said Plato. It's Plato, but yeah. I just immediately thought like the Plato, like the that artist in thoughts who had first analyzed it. Was it not Baronetti who had carved in the colored marvels of the sonnet sequence? But it is our own century was strange, yes. He could try to be a Dorian Gray. tried to be to Dorian Gray what, without knowing it? The lad was the painter who had fashioned the world as wonder. Okay, hello. I am tripping on my words so much. Hi Nick, how are you doing? I was in your stream yesterday. I know I wasn't talking the whole time, but I was literally had it in my second monitor while I was playing Fuss, whatever I was doing. It was on my second monitor the whole time. Okay. I love that you're welcoming people. It's very nice. But in our own century was strange, yes. He would try to be a Dorian Gray what without knowing it? The lad was a painter who was to the painter who had fashioned the wonderful painting portraits. He would seek to dominate him. He already had indeed half done so. He would make this wonderful spirit his own. There was something fascinating of the son of love and death. Suddenly he stopped and glanced up at the house. He found that he had passed his aunt some distance so, and smiling to himself turned back. When he entered the somewhat somber hall, the butler told him that they had gone in for lunch. He gave one of the footmen his hat and stick and passed into the dining room. Late as usual, Harry, cried his aunt, shaking her head at him. He invented a facile excuse, and having taken the vacant seat next to her, looked around to see who was there. Dorian bowed to him shyly from the end of the table. A flush of pleasure stealing into his cheeks. Opposite was the Duchess of Harley, a lady of admirable good nature and temperament. She liked by everyone who knew her, and all of those ample architectural propositions that in women were not Duchess has described that in women who were not duchesses are described by contemporary historians as stoutness. Next to her sat, to her right, Sir Thomas Burdon, a radical member of Parliament, who followed his leaders in public life and in private life followed the Becks dining with the Tories, and thinking about the Liberals in accordance with the wise and well-known rule. The post on her left, occupied by Mr. Erskine, of Trendley, an old gentleman of considerable charm and culture, who had fallen, however, into a bad habit of silence, having, as he explained once to Lady Agatha, said everything that he had stated before he was 30. His own neighbour was Miss Vandeleur, one of his aunt's old friends, a perfect saint among women, but so dreadfully dowdy that she reminded one of a badly bound Heimbook? I don't know what that is. Fortunately to him, she had on the other side Lord Fondle, a most intelligent middle-aged mediocrity, as bold as a minister. Okay, this is tripping me up because I can't. Why is Rio so nice? What do you mean, get back, real Rio? Rio's always been very sweet. What do you mean? He's one of my 3 mods. He's one of my 3 mods. I think it might have been. No, he's modded, possibly. Where did I leave off? For him, she had on the other side Lord Fondle, a most intelligent middle-aged mediocrity, as bald as a ministerial statesman in the House of Commons, with whom she was conversing in that intensely earnest manner which is one unpardonable error, as he remarked once himself, that all really good people fall into, and from which none of them ever quite escape. Are you talking about poor Dartmoor, Lord Henry? Cried the Duchess, nodding pleasantly at him across the table. Do you think he will really marry this fascinatingly young person? I believe that she has made up her mind to propose to him? I believe that she had made up her mind to propose to him, Duchess. How dreadful! Examined Lady Agatha. Really, someone should interfere. I am told one excellent authority that her I was told on excellent authority that her father kept an American's dry goods store, said Sir Thomas Borden, looking superstitious. Superstitious. That's not superstitious. That's supercilicious. Supercilicious. Yes. My uncle had already suggested packing, Sir Thomas. Dry goods? More American dry goods, asked the Duchess, raising her large hand in wonderful, accentuating the verb. American novels, answered Lord Henry, helping himself to some quail. The Duchess looked puzzled. Don't mind him, my dear, whispered Lady Agatha. He never means anything what he says. When America was discovered, said the Radical member, and he began to give some wearisome facts, like some people who try to exhaust a subject. He exhausted his listeners. The Duchess sighed and exercised her privilege of interruption. I wish to goodness it never has been discovered at all, she exclaimed. Really, our girls have no chance nowadays. It's most unfair. Perhaps, after all, America has never been discovered, said Mr. Erskine. I myself say that it had merely been detected. Oh, but I have seen specimens of its inhabitants, answered the Duchess vaguely. I must confess that most of them are extremely pretty. They dress well, too. They all get their dresses in Paris. I wish I could afford to do the same. They say that when good Americans die, they go to Paris, chuckled Sir Thomas, who had a large wardrobe of humorous cast-off clothes. Really? And where do bad Americans go when they die? Inquired the Duchess. They go to America. Sorry. I need to work on, like, my tone when I'm reading, because, like, I read things as if it's, like, funny or something, because I think it's funny, and it's not the tone that they're supposed to be reading in. He was supposed to mumble that. So, they go to America, mumbled Lord Henry, something like that. So I should have did something like that. Sir Thomas frowned. I am afraid that your nephew is prejudiced against the great country, he said to Lady Agatha. I have travelled all over in cars provided by the directors, who in such matter are extremely civil. I assure you that it is an education to visit it. But must we really see Chicago in order to be educated? Asked Mr. Erskine plaintively. I don't feel up to the journey. Sir Thomas waved his hand. Sir Erskine is up trendily, has the world on his shelves. We practical men like to see things, not to read about them. The Americans are an extremely interesting people. They are absolutely reasonable. I think that this is the most distinguishing characteristic. Yes, Mr. Erskine, absolutely reasonable people. I assure you there's no nonsense about the Americans. Yes, definitely. It's definitely because he got mod. Yes, 2 of my mods are in here right now. I have 1 more, but, he's eating food right now, so he's not in my stream right now.
Will you give him a drink of water, for Christ's sake?
Okay. How dreadful, cried Lord Henry. I can't stand brute force, but a brute reason is quite unbearable. There is something unfair about its use. It is hidden below the intellect. I do not understand you, said Sir Thomas, growing rather red. I do, Lord Henry, murmured Mr. Erskine with a smile. Okay. Paradoxes are all very well in their way, rejoined the baronet. Was that a paradox? asked Mr. Erskine. I do not think so. Perhaps it was. Well, the way of paradox is the way of truth. To test reality, we must see if it's on a tight rope. When the verities become acrobats, we can judge them. Dear me, said Lady Agatha, how you men argue. I am sure I could never make out what you are talking about. Oh, Harry, I am quite vexed with you. Why do you always try to persuade our nice Mr. Dorian Gray to give up the East End? I assure you he would be quite invaluable. They would love his playing. I want him to play to me, cried Lord Henry, smiling, and he looked down at the table. He caught a bright answering glance. But they are so unhappy in Whitechapel. continued Lady Agatha. I can sympathize with everything except suffering, said Lord Henry, shrugging his shoulders. I cannot sympathize with that. It is too ugly, too horrible, too distressing. There is something terribly morbid in that modern sympathy with pain. One should sympathize with the color, the beauty, and the joys of life. The less the life soars, and the better. Still, the East End is very important problem, remarked Sir Thomas with a grave shake of his head. Quite so, answered the young lord. It is the problem of slavery, and we must try to solve it by amusing the slaves. The politician looked at him keenly. What change do you propose, then? He asked. Lord Henry laughed. I don't desire to change anything in England except the weather, he answered. Okay, that's when I am quite content with the philosophic contemplation. But the 19th century has gone bankrupt through an over-expenditure of sympathy. I would suggest that we should appeal to science as we put it straight. The advantage of the emotions is that they lead us astray, and the advantage of science is that it's not emotional. But we have such a grave responsibilities, ventured Mr. Vandeleur timidly. Terribly grave, echoed Lady Agatha. Lord Henry looked over at Mr. Erskine. Humanity takes itself too seriously. It is the world's original sin. If the caveman had known how to laugh, history would have been very different. You are very comforting, warbled the Duchess. I have always felt rather guilty when I came to see your dear aunt, for I take no interest in all the East End. For the future I shall be able to look into the face without a blush. A blush is very becoming, Duchess, remarked Lord Henry. Only when one is young, she answered. With an old woman like myself, blushes is a very bad sign. Ah, Lord Henry, I wish you could tell me how you became young again. He thought for a moment. Can you remember any great error that you have committed in your early days, Duchess? He asked, looking at her across the table. A great many, I fear, she cried. Then commit them over again, he said gravely. To get back one to youth, you must merely repeat one's follies. A delightful theory, she exclaimed. I must put it into practice. A dangerous theory, came from Sir Thomas' tight lips. Lady Agatha shook her head, but could not help being amused. Mr. Erskine listened. Yes, he continued. That's one of the great secrets of life. Nowadays most people die of a sort of creeping common sense, and discover it's too late when only things one never regrets are one's mistakes. A laugh rang round the table. He played with the idea that grew quite wilfully, tossed it in the air and transformed it, let it escape and recapture itself, made it iridescent with fancy and wings with a paradox. The praise of folly as he went on scored into philosophy. Philosophy herself became young, and catching the mad music with pleasure, wearing one might fancy her wine-stained robes and wreath of ivory, danced like a batshit. Ah! Okay. So a batshit is the Roman I guess the Roman version of Dionysus. So it's basically like a very wild party. That's a good version to put it. Cause yeah. I'm okay. I got excited because I love when things are mentioned with Greek or Roman like little mentions. I didn't remember that. Dance like batshit over the hills of life and mock the slowness of being sober. Facts fled before her like frightened forest things. Her white feet trod the huge press of which wise Osmar sits, a bright till the seething grape juice rose around her bare lips in waves of purple bubbles, or crawling in red foam over the vet's black, dripping, slopping sides. It was an extraordinary improvisation. He thought the eyes of Dorian Gray. What do you think? What made you think I wasn't okay when I looked excited of getting our little reference towards Roman mythology? Okay, we actually might go into another chapter, because we're already almost to chapter 4. And I said we're going to do like 3 chapters tonight, but it's not even an hour in. We're already so ahead from yesterday, 2 days ago, when, because now you guys are running short on your channel points. The sound of his yeah, sorry about that. Were fixed on him, the consciousness that amongst his Dorian's great eyes were fixed on him, and the consciousness that amongst his audience there was one who temperament
Driving in my car right after a beer. Hey, that mom is shaped like a deer. DUI, how about you die? I'll go 100 miles an hour. Little do you know, I'm filled up on gas. I'm a kid, you're about to make an ass. Pulverize this palm with my broken truck. It seems you're out of luck.
Okay, we can get back into it. I used it as a little hydration break. Winter told me to add that. I didn't realize how annoying it would be. She said, please add this.
Hello, how are you? I am under the water. Please help me. Here too much raining.
I shouldn't even mention the channel points. I shouldn't have even mentioned the channel points. There was one whose temperament he wished to fascinate seemed to give him his wit. I'm raising the price of that one. I'm gonna raise the price of that one. That one's gonna be 700 instead of 500 the next stream. Okay, let's get back into it. He seemed to get... There was one whose temperament he wished to fascinate seemed to give his wit keenness and to lend color to his imagination. He was brilliant, fantastic, irresponsible, he charmed his listeners out of themselves, and they followed his pipe laughing. Dorian Gray never took his gaze off of him, but sat like one under a spell. Smiles chased each other over his lips, and wonder glowed gravely in his darkened eyes. No. You cannot afford 3 of those. Well, you could, but I think that's like a 5-minute time. I think there's like a 5-minute thing between it. Like you can't do it within 5 minutes. I'm pretty sure. I just said that we have been productive this stream. That's all I said. At last, livelier at the costume of the age, reality entered the room in the shape of a servant to tell the Duchess that her carriage was waiting. She wrung her hands in mock despair. How annoying, she cried. I must go. I have to call for my husband at the club to take him to some absurd meeting at Willie's rooms, where he is going to be in the chair. If I am too late, he is sure to be furious, and I couldn't have a scene in this bonnet. It is too fragile. A harsh word would ruin it. No, I must go, dear Agatha. Goodbye. Lord Henry, you are quite delightfully and dreadfully demoralizing. I am sure I don't know what to say about your views. You must come and dine with us some nights. Tuesday? Are you disengaged Tuesday? For you I would throw away anybody, Duchess, said Lord Henry with a bow. Oh, that is very nice and very wrong of you, she cried. So, mind you come? And she swept out of the room, followed by Lady Agatha and her other ladies. When Lord Henry had sat down again, Mr. Erskine moved round and taking a chair close to him, placed his hand upon his arm. You talk books away? I don't know why I put it in that context. You talk books away, he said. Why don't you write one? I am too fond of reading books to care to write them, Mr. Erskine. I should like to write a novel, certainly, a novel that would be as lovely as a Parisian carpet and as unreal. But there's no republic in England for anyone except newspapers, primers, and encyclopedias. Of all people in the world, the English have the least sense of beauty of literature. I fear you are right, answered Mr. Erskine. I myself used to have literary ambitions, but I gave them up long ago, and now my dear young friend, if you will allow me to call you so, may I ask if you really meant all that you said at lunch? I quite forgot what I said, smiled Lord Henry. Was it all very bad? Very bad indeed, in fact. I consider you extremely dangerous, and if anything happens to our good Duchess, we shall all look on you for being primarily responsible. But I should like to talk to you about life. The generation in which I was born was tedious. Some day, when you are tired of London, come down to Trendley and expound to me your philosophy of pleasure over some admirable Burgundy I am so fortunate enough to possess. I shall be charmed. A visit to Trendley would be a great privilege, and is a perfect house and perfect library. You will complete it, answered the lord gentleman with a courteous bow. And now I must bid good-bye to your excellent aunt. I am due at Athenaeum in an hour when we sleep there. All of you, Mr. Erikson? 40 of us, in 40 armchairs. We are practicing for the English... Wait, what? Wait, what are they doing? You will complete it, answered the old gentleman with a courteous bow. And now I must I must bid goodbye to your excellent aunt. I am due at the Athenaeum in an hour when we sleep there. So they're sleeping in chairs? Yes, chaotic, but we still have to keep some order. Don't want to get to yes. Okay. All of you, Mr. Erskine? 40 of us in 40 armchairs. So they're sleeping in armchairs? We are practicing for the English Academy of Letters. Lord Henry laughed and rose. I am going to the park, he cried. As he passed out the door, Miss Dorian Gray touched him on his arm. Let me come with you, he murmured. But I thought you had promised Basil Hallward to go and see him, answered Lord Henry. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. I hope the readers have a really, really nice stream. Had a really, really nice stream.
Irving Rush rated your channel with 3 viewers.
We are currently reading The Picture of Dorian Gray, which is my favorite book. I also do Minecraft streams and Fallout 76 and Sims 4 streams. The Sims 4 streams have been on a bit of the back burner right now because my game is broken currently, and the only way to fix it won't save. So the only way to fix that is to get rid of all my mods and add them back. Hi there, you're reading Picture of Dorian Gray. I read that a few months ago. Yes! I love it. I love it so much. I am going to show my 3 copies of it again. I have my favorite copy, the Penguin Cloth-bound edition. I have the Uncensored edition. And we are reading, I don't remember what edition this is. Fingerprint edition. And this one's really pretty. I apologize about that. I'm very fancy. As soon as you said it was... Yes. Readers, I hope you'll have a wonderful day. Yeah, real, I'm so sorry about the alert. It's 28 seconds long. Winter convinced me to add it. I know you have to. Yeah. You read it as a teenager? I love it. When I was in English class, the things we do. Yeah. Oh, she's also one of my friends, so is Rio. You can cut it to shorten it. Yeah, but it's 1,000 channel points, though. I feel bad, because I feel like it's 1,000 channel points. It kind of needs to be. I don't know. You don't need the whole song. I just wanted to... You just... Okay. You just wanted the beginning parts. Okay. Where did we leave off? Lord Henry laughed and rose. I'm going to the park, he cried as he was passing out the door. What's streaming with that? Yeah. This is how most of my streams go recently. Cause I just added channel points a couple days ago. Yeah. I just added channel points like 3 days ago, and they have been abusing that. For example, Winter had like 10,000 of them, so she's been spamming it. She even got her own special channel point button. Yeah. Henry laughed and rose. "I am going to the park," he cried. As he was passing out the door, Dorian Gray touched him on the arm. "Let me come with you," he murmured. "But I thought you had promised Basil Hallward to go and see
how are
him."
you? I am under the water. Please help me. Here too much raining.
That is Winter's special channel point button. "I would sooner come with you. Yes, I feel I must come with you. Do let me. And will you promise to talk to me all the time? No one talks so wonderfully as you do." "Oh, I have talked quite enough for today," said Lord Henry, smiling. "All I want now is to look at life. You may come and look at it with me if you care to." What are you speaking of? You're the water one, aren't you? Okay. I'm doing my tea first. That's weird. I don't know why it's not working right now. Well, I saw it, so it's very odd. There's normally like a water thing that pops up. That's weird. Okay, we're on chapter 4 now. Chapter 4. One afternoon, a month later, Dorian Gray was reclining in a luxurious armchair in the little library of Lord Henry's house in Mayfair. When I think of Mayfair, all I'm thinking of right now is Bridgerton. I'm watching Bridgerton right now. Well, I finished watching it. I'm reading 4 books right now. It's a bit absurd. Yeah. This is my stream book, though. So. I'm reading, The Poppy War, Game of Thrones, because the new spin-off, obviously. You know, it's not what the story's based off, but it made me want to read it. And if I don't read it now, I'm not gonna read it for a little bit. I'm also reading Bridgerton as like a little, like, less dense read whenever I can read it, you know? So, like, because, like, Poppy War and Game of Thrones are both very, very dense, and Bridgerton is not dense at all. So, yeah. It was, in its way, a very charming room, with its high paneling wainscoting of olive-stained oak, its cream-colored frinds and ceiling of raised plasterwork, and its brick-dust felt carpet strewn with long-fringed Persian rugs. On a tiny satinwood table stood a statuette of Claudian, and besides it lay a copy of Les Saint Novellas. I don't know why I just said novellas weird. I get having a decompressed book reading. I'm gonna follow you right now. I'm gonna follow you. That's on. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, thank you. As soon as I heard that, I was like, okay, I need to follow you. Thank you.
Followed your channel.
As soon as I heard, like, okay, that you need to follow. Les Saint Novellas, bound for Margaret of Volatis by Clovis Eve and powdered with the gilt daisies that Queen had selected for her device. Some large blue china jars and parrot tulips were ranged on the mantel-shelf, and throughout the small leading panes of the windows streamed the apricot-colored lights of a summer day in London. Lord Henry had not yet come in. He was always quietly unprincipled, his principles being that punctuality is the thief of time. So the lad was looking rather sulky. With the listless fingers, he turned over the page of an elaborately illustrated edition of Man Scouts. I butcher a lot of these words, even though I've read this a couple times. That he had found in one of the bookcases. The formal monotonous tickling of the Luis Cortez clock annoyed him. Once or twice he thought of going away. At last he heard a step outside, and the door opened. "How late are you, Harry?" he murmured. "I am afraid it is not Harry, Mr. Gray," answered a shrill voice. He glanced quickly around and rose to his feet. "I beg your pardon, I thought..." You thought it was my husband? It was only his wife. You must let me introduce myself. I know you quite well by your photographs. I think my husband has got 17 of them. Not 17, Lady Henry. Well, 18 then. And then I saw you with him the other night at the opera. She laughed nervously as she spoke, and watched him with her vague, forget-me-not eyes. She was a curious woman whose dresses always looked as if they had been designed in a rage and put on a tempest. She was always in love with somebody, and as far as passion has never returned, she kept all her illusions. She tried to look picturesque, but only succeeded in being untidy. Her name was Victoria, and she had a perfect mania of going to church. Sorry, I got distracted. That was, Logren, Lady Henry, I think. Yes, it was at dear Logren. I like Wagner's music better than anybody's. Okay, I don't know why she just said. Okay, what's on? Yes, it was. It was dear Logren. I like Wagner's music better than anybody's. If it was so loud, then one could talk. Oh, we're talking about the opera. That makes sense. I haven't read this in a couple of years. It is so loud that one could talk the whole time without other people hearing what one says. That is the great advantage, don't you think, Mr. Gray? The same nervous staccato laugh broke from her thin lips, and her fingers began to play with the long tortoiseshell paper knife. Dorian smiled and shook his head. I'm afraid I don't think so, Lady Henry. I never talk during music, at least during good music. If one hears bad music, it is one's duty to drown it in conversation. Ah, this one is Henry Views, isn't it not? Isn't it, Mr. Gray? I always hear Harry's voice from his friends, and it's only a way I can get to know of them. Oh, yes, please do that. It's the only way I get to know of them. But you must not think I don't like good music. I adore it, but I'm afraid of it. It makes me too romantic. I have simply worshipped pianists. 2 at a time sometimes. Harry calls me. I don't know what is it about them. Perhaps it is that they are foreigners, that all they are, aren't they? Even those who are born in England become foreigners after time, don't they? It's so clever of them, and such a compliment to arts. It makes it quite cosmopolitan, doesn't it? You have never been to any of my parties, have you, Mr. Gray? You must come. I can't afford orchids, but I spare no expense in foreigners. They make one's rooms look so picturesque. But here is Harry. Harry, I came in to look for you, to ask you something. I forgot what it was, but I forgot Mr. Gray's here. We have such a pleasant chat about music. We have quite the same ideas. No, I think our ideas are quite different, but he has been most pleasant. I'm so glad I've seen him. I am charmed, my love, quite charmed, said Lord Henry, elevating his dark crescent-shaped eyebrows and looking at them both with an amused smile. So sorry I'm late, Dorian. I went to look for look after a piece of old brocade of Woodworth Street and had to bargain for hours for it. Nowadays people know the price of everything and the value of nothing. Oh, I can't shout. Okay, I thought you could do that. Sorry. How do I do that? I've never done that before. Yeah, I don't think I... One second.
Will you give him a drink of water,
1 second.
for Christ's sake?
I have to move my camera. It's in the way. Stream? No. Community? No chats? I can't find it. Okay. I don't know where the shadow button would be. It's in my chats? Chats. Wait, I think I found it. Wait. Preferences, remote icons. Delete messages. Chats. Start sharing chat, show modes. Slow modes. Where would it? Okay, I am. Sorry, it's taking me a sec. I'm trying to find where the shout out button would be. Oh, slash shout out? Oh, sorry. I don't know why I just... Okay. Slash shout out. Sorry, I don't know why I was... And then brackets. Then where is your username? Oh, it's okay. Am I doing something wrong? Okay, wait, I can highlight message. Sorry, it's taking me a second to do this. Arthur Rush. Okay, watch this not work. Wait, what do you mean the channel I'm shouting out does not exist? Wait, sorry. Well, I'm just gonna copy and paste this. Why can't I? I can try? Okay, I don't know why it's not letting me. I have been trouble spelling my name, I found it. Yeah. I don't know why it's not letting me. Like, I literally went to your channel to find out how to spell it, and I still said I spelled it wrong. Shout out. Had a channel for years as well. Yes, that's what I was trying to do. I even tried copy and pasting. Yeah, I did too. Yeah, sorry for the deviation of the stream real quick. Just want to make sure. Yeah, oh, that's so weird. It keeps saying I'll pin it. I'll pin the okay. That I think that has to do right now. I'm gonna pin the raid thing. Okay, I'll just pin your newest one. Pin this message. Menu and pin it the rest of the stream. Okay. So that is the channel. That I did, yeah, it popped up when I tried to type in the username. It went, like, it kept saying it was wrong, but I pinned your thing. Yeah, like it popped up, but like, yeah, it didn't work for some reason. I'll try it one more time. Watch it just work this time. Channel management, okay, and then Arthur. Oh, yes, it worked. Okay, there it is. There it is. There it is. There it is. Alright, I definitely did not try to put the name in the brackets. Definitely not. We're just gonna ignore them. That's great. So why it didn't work was because for some reason I thought, oh yeah, I put it in the brackets, not get rid of the brackets instead. But yeah. Okay, now I can unpin this message. Okay. No, that's the one. I'm gonna keep the message because it's funny that it's just still there. We're just gonna leave it. Okay. Where do we leave off? I see what I did wrong now. I think you did the same thing I was trying to do. I am charmed, my love, quite charmed, said Lord Henry, opening his dark, crescent-shaped eyebrows and looking at them both with an amused smile. So sorry I'm late, Dorian. I went to look after a piece of old brocade of Woodworth Street, and I had to bargain for hours for it. Nowadays people know the price of everything but the value of nothing. I'm afraid I must be going, exclaimed Lady Henry, breaking an awkward silence with her silly, sudden laugh. I have promised to drive with the Duchess. Goodbye, Mr. Gray. Goodbye, Harry. You are dining out, I suppose? So am I. Perhaps we shall see you at Lady Thornberry's. I daren't say, my dear. I dare say, my dear, said Lord Henry, shutting the door behind her. As looking like a bird of paradise, they had been out all night in the rain. She flitted out of the room, leaving a faint odor of frangipani. Then he lit a cigarette and flung himself down on the sofa. Never marry a woman with straw-colored hair, Dorian, he said after a few puffs. Why, Harry? Get rid of the brackets. Every single channel we've rated has at least one failed child. Yeah, I know how to do shoutouts now because I mayhaps was putting the username in between the brackets, so again we're in the brackets. Yeah. Can I just I can. Okay. Because they are so sentimental. But I like sentimental people. Okay, yes. You wear mud for a reason. I guess you can. I trust you. You're good. Because they're so sentimental. I like sentimental people. Never marry at all, Dorian. Men marry because they are tired. Women because they are curious. Both are disappointed. I don't think that I am likely to marry Harry. I am too much in love. That is one of your I am butchering this word. Aphorisms I am putting into practice as I do everything that you say. Who are you in love with? Said Lord Henry after a pause. With an actress, said Lord Dorian Gray. Blushing, Lord Henry shrugged his shoulders. That is a rather commonplace debut. You should say so if you saw her, Harry. Who is she? Her name is Sybil Vane. Never heard of her. No one has. People will someday, however. She's a genius. My dear boy, no woman is a genius. Okay. Women are a decorative sex. They never have anything to say, but they say it charmingly. Women represent the triumph of matter over mind, just as men represent the triumph of mind over morals. Harry, how can you? My dear Dorian, it's quite true. I am analyzing women at present. That is a weird way of spelling analyzing. So I ought to know. The subject is, unless it's just looking at it weird. I think I just read it wrong. No, I didn't read it wrong. It is definitely the right word. It just looks weird in my head. I don't know. No. No. You will not. Okay, I'm curious what your prediction is. Are you doing like a prediction in like the managed prediction thing? Or like what are you trying to do? You failed? No, I see it. I see it when I click Manage Predictions. Will she get to Chapter 5? I will get to Chapter 5. I don't know what you're saying. I will definitely get to Chapter 5. This stream is a lot less chaotic, somehow, than my last reading stream. I only got through 2 chapters because people kept spamming my chat with the channel points, because that was the day I made the channel points, like 2 days ago. And they had a lot of channel points accrued by that point. Okay, let's get... My dear Dorian, it is quite true. I am analyzing women at present, and so I ought to know if the subject is not so obtuse as I thought it was. I find that ultimately there are only 2 kinds of women: the plain and the colored. The plain women are very useful. If you want to gain a reputation for respectability, you have merely to take them down to supper. The other women are very charming. They commit one mistake, however, and they paint in order to try to look young. Our grandmothers painted in order to try to talk brilliant. Rogue and Esperate used to go together. That is all over now. As long as women can look 10 years younger than their own daughter, she is perfectly satisfied. As for conversations, there are not only 5 women in London we're talking to, and 2 of these can't even admit into being decent society. And 2 of them can't even be admitted into decent society, however. Tell me about your genius. How long have you known her? Harry, your views terrify me. Never mind that. How long have you known her? About 3 weeks. Wait, Rio, I can try to, I can cancel that and maybe you can try again. I believe. Oh, yeah, people... Oh, you can do it now. Yeah, it's gone now. You can do it again if you want to try that again. Okay, I just said this wrong thing again. Never mind that. How long have you known her? About 3 weeks. And where did you come across her? I will tell you, Harry, but you mustn't be unsympathetic about it. After all, it never would have happened if I had not met you. You filled me with a wild desire, and I know everything about life. For days after I met you, something seemed to throb in my veins. As I lounged at the park or strolled down Piccadilly, I used to look at everyone who passed me and wonder, with a mad curiosity, what sort of lives they led. Some of them fascinated me, others filled me with terror. There was an exquisite poison in the air, and I had a passion for sensations. Well, one evening at 7 o'clock, I determined to go out in search of some adventure. I felt that this great monstrous London of ours, with its myriads of people, its sordid sinners, and its splendid sins, as you once phrased it, must have something in store for me. I fancied 1,000 things. The mere danger gave me a sense of delight. I remember what you said to me on that wonderful evening where we first dined together, about the search for beauty being the real secret of life. I don't know what I expected, but I went out and wandered eastward, soon losing my way in a labyrinth of grimy streets and black grassy squares. About 8:30, I passed an absurdly little theatre, with a great flaring gas jets and gaudy playbills. A hideous person, in the most amazing waistcoat I've ever beheld in my life, was standing at the entrance, smoking a vile cigar. He had greasy ringlets, and an enormous diamond blazed in the center of his soiled shirt. "How a box, my lord?" he said, when he saw me, and he took off his hat with an air of gorgeous servility. There was something about him, Harry, that amused me. He was such a monster. You will laugh at me, I know, but I really went in and paid a whole guinea for a stage box. And this present day I can't make out why I did so. And yet if I hadn't, my dear Harry, if I hadn't, I should have missed the greatest romance of my life, and I see you are laughing. It is horrid of you. I'm not laughing, Dorian. At least I'm not laughing at you. But you should not say the greatest romance of your life. You should say the first romance of your life. You will always be loved, and you will always be in love with love. A grand passion and the privilege of people who have nothing to do. That is the one who used the idol of the classes of a country. Don't be afraid, there are quite exquisite things in store for you. You are merely the beginning. Do you think my nature is so shallow? Cried Dorian Gray angrily. No, I think your nature is deep. I think your nature is so deep. How do you mean? My dear boy, the people who love only once in their lives are really the shallow people. What they call loyalty and their fidelity, they call either the larthology of custom and their lack of imagination. Faithfulness is to the emotional life what consistency is to the life of the intellect. Simply a confession of failure. But faithfulness, I must analyze it some day. The passion for property is in it. There are so many things we would throw away if we're not afraid of others that might pick them up. But I don't want to interrupt you. Go on with your story. Well, I found myself set on this horrid little private box, with a vulgar dropped scene staring at me in the face. I looked out from behind the curtain and surveyed the house. It was a trollery affair, all cupids and cornucopias, like a third-rate wedding cake. The gallery and pit were fairly full, but the 2 rows of dingy stalls were quite empty, and there was hardly a person in what I suppose they called the dress circle. Women went on about their orange and ginger beer, and there's a terrible consumption of nuts going around. I must have been just like the palmy days of the British drama, just like I should fancy it, and very depressing. I began to wonder what on earth I should do with what I caught sight of the playbill. What do you think the play was, Harry? I should think The Idiot Boy or The Dumb but Innocent. Our fathers used to like that sort of piece, I believe. The longer I live, Dorian, the more keenly I feel whatever was good enough for our fathers was not good enough for us. In arts, or as in politics, that's grandparents and tortures torts. This play was good enough for us, Harry. It's Romeo and Juliet. I must admit that I was rather annoyed by the idea of seeing Shakespeare done in such a wretched hole of the place. Still, I felt interested in a sort of way. At any rate, I determined to wait for the first act, and there was a dreadful orchestra, presided over the young Hebrew who sat on the cracked piano. That nearly drove me away. But at last the drop scene was drawn up, and the play began. Juliet was a stout elderly gentleman, with corked eyebrows and a husky, tragic voice, and a figure like a beer barrel. Mercutio, I'm sure I am mispronouncing this. Use your channel points, Nick. I think you should have them. You're in all my streams almost. But I will hydrate, because I was in your stream like the entire day yesterday. I'm like halfway through my tea and it's already cold.
Will you give him a drink of water, for Christ's sake?
I knew you had the points. I knew you had the points. Okay. Mercutio was almost as bad. He was played by a low comedian who had introduced gags of his own and was most friendly terms with the pit. They were both as grotesque as the scenery, and it looked as if we had just come out of the country booth. But Juliet, Harry, imagine the girl, hardly 17 years of age, with a little flower-like face, a small Greek head, with a plait of coils of dark brown hair, eyes that were... Okay, Rio. Had of course dark brown hair, eyes that were violet wells of passion, lips that were like the petals of rose. She was the loveliest thing that I'd ever seen. You said to me once that pathos left you unmoved, but that beauty, mere beauty, could fill your eyes with tears. I tell you, Harry, I could hardly see the girl for the mist of tears that came across me. That was delayed. And her voice, I never heard such a voice. It was very low at first, with deep, mellow notes that seemed to fall singularly upon one's ears. Then it became a little louder and sounded like a flute of a distant hautboy. In the garden scene, it had all the tremulous ecstasy that one hears just before dawn when nightingales are singing. There are moments later on when it had the wild passion of violins. You know how a voice can stir one. Your voice and the voice of Sybil Vane are two things I shall never forget. When I close my eyes, I hear them, and each of them say something very different. I don't know which to follow. Why should I not love her, Harry? I do love her. She's everything to me in life. Night after night, I go to see her play. One evening she is Rosalind, and the next evening she is Imogen. I have seen her die in the gloom of an Italian tomb, sucking the poison from her lover's lips. I have watched her wandering through the voice of Arden, disguised as a pretty boy, in a hose and doublets and dainty caps. She had been mad. She had come into the presence of a guilty king, giving him rue to wear and bitter herbs to taste of. She had been innocent, and the black hands of jealousy have crushed her reed-like throat. I have seen her in every age and every costume. Ordinary women never appeal to one's imagination. They are limited to their century. No glamour ever transfigures them. No one knows their minds so easily as one knows their bonnets. One can always find them. There is no mystery of any of them. They ride in the park in the morning and chatter at tea parties in the afternoon. They have their stereotyped smile and their fashionable manner. They are quite obvious. But an actress, how different actress is. Harry, why don't you tell me that about this only thing worth loving is an actress? Because I have loved so many of them, Dorian. Dorian. I don't know why I said that weird. Oh. What that noise was? I think one of my cats just... I don't know, I heard something in the background. Why did he go off? Oh yes, horrid people with dyed hair and painted faces. Don't run down dyed hair and painted faces. There's an extraordinary charm in them sometimes, said Lord Henry. I wish now I have not told you about Sybil Vane. You could not have helped telling me, Dorian. All things through your life, you will try to tell me everything you do. Yes, Harry, I believe that is true. I cannot help telling you things. You have a curious influence over me. If I ever did a crime, I would come and confess it to you. You would understand me. People like you, the willful sunbeams of life, don't commit crimes, Dorian. But I am much obliged to your compliments, all the same. And now tell me, reach me the matches like a good boy. Thanks. What are your actual relations with Sybil Vane? Dorian Gray leaped to his feet, in flushed cheeks and burning eyes. Harry, Sybil Vane is sacred. It is only things sacred in life that are worth touching, Dorian, said Lord Henry, with a strange touch of pathos in his voice. But why should you be annoyed? I suppose she would belong to you some day. When one is in love, one always begins deceiving oneself, true self. And one always ends by deceiving others. That is what the world calls romance. You know her at any rate, I suppose? Of course I know her. On the first night I was in the theater, the horrid old person came round the box after the performance was over and offered me to take me behind the scenes and introduce me to her. I was serious with him. I told him that Juliet had been dead for hundreds of years, and her body was lying in the marble tomb in Verona. I think from the blank look on his amazement that he was under the impression I had taken too much champagne or something. I am not surprised. Is that a croissant? Then he asked me if I wrote in any kind of newspapers. I told him I never even read them. He seemed terribly disappointed by that and confided in me that all his dramatic critics were in the conspiracy against him and that every one of them should be bought. I should not wonder if he was quite right there, but on the other hand, judging from their appearance, most of them cannot at all be expensive. Okay. Okay. Well, he seemed to think that they were beyond his means, laughed Dorian. By this time, however, the lights were being put out in the theater, and I had to go. He wanted to try to get some cigarettes that he strongly recommended. I declined. I need to do something real quick. Give me 1 second. What? Yeah, that's what I was gonna do. I will be right back. I also take a bathroom break. Just 1 second. I am back. We also have a little guest now. I have no idea how long she will stay. Oh, let's go. But she's sitting right. Oh, okay. I think she's leaving us now. Yeah, she is leaving us. Okay, we can get back into the book. Yeah. Yeah, she is a Himalayan. Yeah, she's a Himalayan little cat. She is 12, I believe. My tea is cold now. I'm very upset about that. Well, he seemed to think they were well beyond their means, left Dorian. By this time, however, the lights were being put out in the theater, and I had to go. He wanted me to try some cigars that were strongly recommended. I declined. The next night, of course, I arrived in the place again. When he saw me, he made me a low bow and assured me that it was a munificent patron of arts. He has the most offensive brutes, though he had an extraordinary passion for Shakespeare. He told me once with an air of pride that his 5 bankruptcies were entirely due to the bard, and he insisted on calling him. He seemed to think it's a distinction. It was a distinction, my dear Dorian, a great distinction. Most people become bankrupt having, though, invested too heavily in the prose of life. To have ruined one's self over poetry is an honor. But when did you first speak to Sybil Vane? Oh, I love ragdolls! I love ragdolls so much. Yes. I also have a cat that's like a half Norwegian forest cat and then half just normal like little black cat. His mom's a little black cat. His dad was a huge Norwegian forest cat. So he's like he looks, I want to say he has like the face of a Norwegian forest cat, but like definitely has the size, like at least not as big, but he's like a very big boy. He's probably like double her size possibly. She's also a very small cat. The third night she had been playing Rosalind. I could not help going around. I had thrown her some flowers, and she had looked at me at least. I fancied that she had. The old person was persistent. He seemed determined to take me behind. So I consented. It was curious my not wanting to know her, wasn't it? No, I don't think so. Tuxedo? Ooh. My dear Harry, why? I will tell you some other time. Now I want to know about the girl. Sybil? Oh, she was so shy and so gentle. I had 3. So 2 of them are still, I still have 2 of them. That's on the chair. I would do that. I would just keep I would just keep the cat that wander into my house. That sounds like me. Well, I had 3 rats. And they were not rescues, but my friend was like, "Hey, so I have something you might like." And I walked into her house because she was like my neighbor. I walked into her house and she just put a rat on my shoulder. I was like, "Okay, I guess I'll take them," because she couldn't take them. Remember, her dad said, "Nope, you are not having these." And so those are my 2 baby rats. They have since passed away because that was a couple years ago. But, yeah. Yes. But I still have one of my rats. I know it's not good to have just one. I have tried to get her a little buddy multiple times. He's actually starting to wake up. Okay, I can show her for 1 little second. 1 little second. Hey, baby, come on. Do you want out? Come here. Come on. because it's very hard for me to focus on her while also reading at the same time. Come on, babes. Come on. She just wants pets you don't want out. She just grabbed one of my fingers. Yeah, I guess that's also happened with this rat. One of my friends, she posted on her Snapchat story and was like, "Hey, is anyone?" Rats are usually great pets. My other brother had one. We were a teenager. He used to climb up the back of my chair. She always does it. Baby, come here. She's gonna jump. She's about to jump in my hand. Okay, do you want both hands? Will you feel safer with both hands? Here you go. She's just hovering over my hands right now. You're okay. I don't know why you're being like this right now. Come on. Okay, I don't know what just fell. My book just fell. Okay, she does not want to be out right now. I'm trying. Give me another minute and I'll try again. I'm still going to try, but if she does not want to be out in like another minute, we're not going to force her to be out. Oh, there she is. There she is. There's the little baby. You cannot jump on my mic. Please, babes. Please, babes. Okay, do you want to go on my sweater? Do you want to say hi? You want to say hi? Little baby. She's about a year and a half old. Yes, she is very, very good. No, you cannot go in my sweater. No, you cannot. Okay, this is why I have to put her back, because I cannot focus on her and reading and chat all at the same time. But do you want to say bye-bye? Let's say bye-bye. Say bye-bye, Angel. Bye-bye, Angel. Okay. Come on. I'll pull you out after your stream. Because, like, I have my other cat. Yes, she's adorable. They were all named her both the Vampire Slayer characters. She is, of course, Willow. I have tried. Oh, I'm not gonna. No, she would not have babies. No, but I have tried to get her a buddy twice, and neither time has worked out. Because after her sisters died, things just didn't work out with other rats, which I feel very sad about. Because rats are not really supposed to be left alone. Does she bog? Wait, what? What do you mean, Rio? Okay, let's get back into the book. Yeah, she is still grieving. She was a baby, because I literally got her. The only reason why I agreed to get her was because my other rats, I got them as a pair. They were adults when I got them, and they were together. So I'm like, okay, I can't separate them. And then I didn't want to leave one, like, I believe she does. If I'm thinking what that is. What was I gonna say? My rats were about 2 years old when I got her. And she, I didn't want one of them to be left alone after one of them passed away, because they've never been, one of them, as long as I had them, they were never left alone. And then they died a week apart. So, she was all left alone. And sometimes she still looks a little sad, but I pull her out like every day for a couple hours every day, at very least. They're happy, their eyes. Yes, she does do that. She does do that. She loves getting little kissies. I gave her a little kiss before she went, a little kiss on her little nose before she went back in her cage. She didn't really do it then, but fuck it, she just woke up. Let's get back into the book. She also likes the one under my hair. She was trying to do that when I was earlier, a second ago. Also, what? Ah! Little lady! Okay. I will look at that later. Okay. Okay, now you can hear her drinking her water. I'm sorry about that. Oh, what the fuck? Wait, is there still water left in this pipes? Okay, I have to refill our water. I'm sorry, I'll be right back. Okay, we are back. I just did it as quickly as I possibly could. Okay. Oh, thank you.
A Beer the Pro followed your channel.
Oh, thank you. Red has an armadillo and a hedgehog. I love hedgehogs. I would love a hedgehog. I actually do have a pet snake, but I don't want to consider it my
Will you
snake.
give him a drink of water for Christ's sake?
It's my mom's snake. She got it when I was like a year old, and so it is a very old snake. But I haven't handled him since I got my rats a couple years ago, because I am nervous about not washing my hands thoroughly enough. But it's very sad. But he also hates being held also, because he's a very old boy. His name's Ginger. I named him when I was like 3. Because they didn't give him a name until I was like 3. He also escaped the apartment. When he lived in the apartment, he escaped and got under the couch. Oh. Why is it not working? What? That's so weird. I'm sorry, there's a GG thing there. I'm sorry about that. That's very odd. It should be there. Oh, that was so delayed. Yeah. Well, you heard it still. It just took a little bit more time. Okay, I don't know why that one was like immediate and the other one wasn't. I love how boa constrictors look, but like I'm scared of them kind of. Cause my big boy is a little corn snake and he is like 5 feet long because how old he is, and I'm just used to little thin snake. Hi. If I had a snake, I would name him Pickle, for funsies. Okay, this has turned into like a okay, I'm supposed to be reading. But, I would love a hognose snake. I adore hognose snakes so much. Like, my screen is very, I can pull it up on no, I cannot. I don't have it set up on my second monitor. Google what hognose snakes look like. They are adorable. They have a little pig nose. That's why they're called hognoses, because their nose goes up and it's so adorable. They are adorable. Okay. Let's get back into the book. Now I see why Rio was like, will she make it to chapter 5? We will. It might just take a little bit longer. um... Yes, she will. She is not merely art, consumer art instinct, and art consummate art instinct in her, but she has a personality also, and she often told me that it is personality, not principles, that moves the age. Well, what night shall I go? Let me see. Today is Tuesday. Let us fix tomorrow. She plays Juliet tomorrow. You had a bat as a pet? I mean robbers. What do you mean robbers? Wait. Alright, the Bristol at 8 o'clock, and I will get Basil. Not 8, Perry, please. 6:30. We must be there before the
Hello,
curtains rise.
how are you? I am under the water. Please help me. Here too much raining.
Oh, we must be there before the curtain rises. You must see her in the first act when she meets Romeo. 6:30? That's an hour. What an hour. It will be like having a meat tea or reading an English novel. It must be 7. No gentleman dines before 7. I shall see Basil tomorrow, this and then. Or shall I write to him? Dear Basil, I have not laid eyes on him for a week. It is rather horrid to me that he was sent from me my portrait in the most wonderful frame, specially designed by himself, and though I am a little jealous of the painting for a whole month younger than I am, I must admit that I delight in it. Perhaps you had better write to him. I don't want to see him alone. He says things that annoy me and gives me good advice. Lord Henry smiled. People are very fond of giving away they need most themselves. It is what they call the death of generosity. Oh, Basil is the best of fellows, but he seems to me just a bit of a Philistine. Since I have known you, Harry, I've discovered that. Basil, my dear boy, puts everything that is charming in him into his work. The consequences is that he has nothing left for life in his prejudice, his principles, and his common sense. The only artists I have ever known who is personally delighted are bad artists. Good artists exist simply to do what they make, and simply in what they make. He scared some robbers out of the house while we were in summer vacation. The neighbors, Cause just imagine the robber's face, just seeing a little bat in the corner of the room, just staring. Good artists simply exist in what they make, and the consequences are perfectly uninterested in what they are. A great poet is a really great poet is the most unpoetical of all creatures. But inferior poets are absolutely fascinating. The worse their rhymes are, the more picturesque they look. The mere fact of having published a book of second-rate sonnets makes a man quite irresistible. He lives the poetry that he cannot write. The others write the poetry they can dare not realize. His name is Bruce. Okay. You named him after Bruce Wayne? You really named him after Bruce Wayne? Bruce was so bad. I wonder, is that really so, Harry? Said Dorian Gray, putting some perfume in his handkerchief out of a large cold-top bottle that stood on the table. I must be if I say it. And now I am off. Imogen is waiting for me. Don't forget about tomorrow. Goodbye. As he left the room, Lord Henry, heavy eyelids dropped, and he began to think. Certainly few people have ever interested in him so much as Dorian Gray. And yet the lad, mad at adoration of someone else, caused him not the slightest pang of annoyance or jealousy. He was pleased by it. It made him a more interesting specimen. More interesting study. He has always
Will you
wanted
give
to
him a drink of water, for Christ's sake?
Hey. Okay. Hi. I'm just gonna ignore what just happened. I don't know if you can even see that. Oh, you did. I definitely did not spill tea everywhere. That's good. Okay, I'm just gonna... I did not just drop my book. I got a little bit of tea on my glasses. Oh, I just pinched my finger. Everything just keeps happening in the wrong... Okay. I'm just gonna ignore that. Um... Trying to remember where I was. Interesting. I just felt like he would say interesting specimen. He's just the type of person that I feel like would say that. A more interesting study. He had been always enthralled by the methods of natural science, but the ordinary subject matter of the science had... Clearly, he's talking about it as if he was a specimen. That's why I thought he would say specimen, not study. Because he's really talking about, oh, the enthrallment methods of natural science. Okay. But the ordinary subject matter of the science seemed to him trivial with no import, and and so he had begun by vivisecting himself by vivisecting others. What is vivisecting? We don't know. I don't know what it means. Human life, like dissecting, I guess? But like not actually dissecting it? Someone just texted me. Oh no, it must have been someone else. I turned off notifications. I do not know why. Oh, so I have it open, that's why. I'm sorry that you guys heard all those little pings, not pings, but like the little notification noises. I'm sorry about that. I just realized you guys would probably hear that. I keep forgetting where I left off. Human life that appeared to him the one thing worth investigating. Compared to it, there was nothing else of any value. It was true that the one watched life in its curious crucible of pain and pleasure. One could not wear one's face as a mask of glass. Oh. So, me saying probably dissecting something is kind of the same thing. Ish. I thought it would because it's vivisecting, so secting. I kind of figured or something like that. It was true that one watched life in its curious crucible of pain and pleasure. One could not wear over one's own face the mask of glass, nor keep the sulphurous fumes from troubling the brain and making the imagination turbid with monstrous fancies and misshapen dreams. There were poisons so subtle that they was made known to their properties and one had sickened in them. They were maladies so strange that one had to pass through them if one sought to understand their nature. And yet what a great reward one receives. How wonderful I'm gonna sneeze. No, I'm not. You know when you have like the feeling in your nose that you're about to sneeze and it just goes away? That's what, yeah. And yet what great reward one receives. How wonderful passion in the emotional colored life and the intellect. To observe where they had met and where they had separated to the point where they were in unison. At what point they were at discord. They were delightful in that, the matter of the cost that. what matter what the cost was, one that could never pay too high of a price on a sensation. He was conscious and that the thought brought a gleam of pleasure into his brown agate eyes, and that it was through certain words of his musical words said with musical utterance that Dorian
Will you
Gray
give him
saw...
a drink of water for Christ's sake?
Okay. Oh, sorry. Well, I didn't sneeze. The feeling in my nose went away. You know, like when you're about to sneeze and there's like feeling in your nose, and it just disappears out of nowhere without you sneezing. Yeah. That was through certain words of his, musical words, said with musical utterance, that Dorian Gray's soul had been turned to this white girl and bowed in worship before her. Thank you for the follow. Really, really appreciate it.
Mindari
Thank you.
followed your channel.
Oh, I just realized I am 14 followers away from 100. When we hit 100 followers on here, I think I did the math right. Yes, I believe that's the math. Yes it is. When we hit 100 followers on TikTok, we are doing a date everything playthrough, but instead of dating them, we are befriending all of them instead, because there is an ending, or you befriend all of them instead of dating any of them, or having any of them hate you, and it's also for an achievement, which is also why I want to do it. But I was also thinking, it would be fun, because, like, you meet all these cool characters in game, and I've met so many cool people through streaming. So, yeah. Oh, now it's 13 followers. Yes, it just changed over. Yes. I'm so excited. To a large extent that the lad has his own creation, he made him premature. That was something. That was this whole sentence. That was something. Ordinary people waited till life disclosed for them its secrets, but to the few, to the elect, the mysteries of life had revealed before the vein had drawn away. Sometimes we're gonna have 100. That's how. Dude, I've only been I'm gonna keep saying this. I've only been streaming for 2 months. This is insane. But yeah. I don't know if I'm actually speaking of 1,000. I am at 900-ish followers on TikTok. If you have TikTok, my TikTok is linked in my about section on my channel. I blanked on what it was called. Yes. Was the effects of art, and chiefly of the art of literature, which dealt immediately with the passion and intellect. But now and then a complex personality took the place and assumed the office of arts, was indeed, in its way, a real work of art, having its elaborate masterpieces just as poetry has, or sculptures or paintings. Yes, the lad was premature. He was gathering his harvest while it was yet spring. The pulse and passion of youth were in him, but he was becoming self-conscious. It was delightful to watch him, with his beautiful face and his beautiful soul. He was a thing to wonder at. It was no matter how it all ended, or it was destined to end. He was like one of those gracious figures at a pageant, or a play whose joys seemed to be remote from one's own. The thing is, with that, I don't like I felt uncomfy romancing him because he kept saying, I just want a friend. So, yeah. And, like, all the other ones were like that, too. So, like, when my singular playthrough with that, I may have basically did this. But there's a few. Like, the Breaker Box people. It's like, I don't remember his name. It's Eddie and, the other guy. And they immediately love my character. I need advice to start streaming pro streaming. I'm not a pro streamer. I've been streaming for 2 months. Just talk. A lot of streamers just don't interact when even though there's no one there. That's my one thing. I feel like my one thing I will say. Just always talk and just fill in the space. Don't let there be silence. If there's silence, it's fine. But like, if it's like have an intentional silence instead of just be like, oh, we're not talking right now. Like if you're very focused on the game, that's different. But yeah, that's my one thing. Just talk and interact, and just be you. It was a thing to wonder at. It was no matter how all editor is destined to end. It was one of those gracious figures in a pageant or a play, whose joy seemed to be remote from one's own. What is that supposed to mean? Winter, what is that? What is that face for? But whose sorrows stir on one's senses of beauty, and those wounds are like red roses. I've sent Mondays to my... Okay. I will be there. I will always be there. Yeah, okay, that's that. And maybe a little bit of an issue sometimes. Like right now, I am supposed to be reading, but people still follow me, so it's fine. Even if we're in the writing category. Part new or two, and I think, okay. But I get very off track, but I put it in my title. Feel free to chat, so they are free to chat. It's like the just shouting category, but with like reading supposed to be there, and it is technically there. It's just not as much as I would like it to be. Yeah. Soul and body and soul, how mysterious they are. There are animism of the soul, and the body at its moments is spirituality. The senses could refine, the intellect could degrade. Who could say where the fleshy impulse ceased, or the physical impulses begin? How shallow were the arbitrary definitions of ordinary psychologists, and yet how difficult to decide between the claims of the various schools. Was the soul of a shadow seat in the house of sin, or was the body really in the soul, as Giordano Bruno thought? The desperate separation of spirits from matter to a mystery, and then the union of spirits with matter was mystery also. It's very fun. Oh, also, make sure that you follow Winter Willows. She is one day away from getting affiliates, and she's an amazing person. If you like my streams, you would definitely like her streams. Yes, she's an amazing person, and she needs one more stream of 3 average viewers to get to affiliates, and then I can do all the channel points to her streams after that. So I'm very looking forward to. Where did we leave off? He began to wonder whether he could ever make psychology so an absolute silence of each little spring of life would be revealed to us. As it was, always misunderstood ourselves and rarely understood others. Experience was to no ethical value. It was merely the name men gave to their mistakes. Moralists had, as a rule, regarded as a mode of warning, had claimed for it a certain ethical efficacy in the formation of character, had praised as it something that had taught us what to follow and showed us what to avoid. But there was no motive power in experience. It was a little an active cause of conscious itself. All there really is demonstrates was our future. Did I forget a hydrate thing? I might have forgotten a hydrate thing. She does not have a cult. I don't have a cult either. It's a community, okay? It's definitely a community, not a cult. All that is really demonstrates that our futures would... Sorry, my rat is drinking water right now. You can definitely hear her. Would be the same as our past, and that the sins have been done once, but the loathsome we would do so many times, and with joy. It was clear to him that experimental methods were the only methods by which one could arrive at any scientific analysis of the passions, and certainly Dorian Gray was a subject made with his hands, and seemed to promise rich and fruitful results. His sudden mad love for Sybil Vane was a psychological phenomenon of no small interest. There was no doubt that curiosity had much to do with it. Curiosity and the desire for new experiences. It was not simple, but rather a very complex passion. What there was in it was a purely sensuous instinct of boyhood that had been transformed by the workings of the imagination, changed into something that seemed to the lad himself to be remote from senses, and those very reasons more dangerous. It was more dangerous. It was the passion to those originals those origins we deceived ourselves, and that tyrannized most strongly over us. Our weakest motives were those of nature when we were conscious. It often happened when we thought we were experimenting on others than when we were really experimenting on ourselves. That's pretty cool too. We play a lot of games off stream as well. Everyone's welcome. So what do I take? Okay. While Lord Henry was dreaming of these things, a knock came to the door, and his valet entered and reminded him that the time to dress for dinner. Yeah, what do you mean by that? One second. What was that notification I just got? Okay, I lost my place. It often happens when we thought we were experimenting on others, when we were really experimenting on ourselves. While Lord Henry sat dreaming of these things, a knock came at the door, and his valet entered and reminded him that it was time to dress for dinner. He got up and looked up on the streets, and sunset had spun into scarlet gold in upper windows in the house opposites. The panes glowed like plates of heated metal, and the sky above like a faded rose. He thought of his friend's young, fiery colored life, and wondered how it was going to end. Why would you wonder how your friend's life was going to end?
Will you give him a drink of water, for Christ's sake?
When he arrived home, about 12:30, he saw a telegram lying on the hall table. He opened it and found it was from Dorian Gray to tell him that he was engaged to be married to Sybil. I forgot about that. I forgot that happened. What is your question? When I saw the Shadow Legion, I just immediately thought of the Legion from Fallout. How can you read it? Yes, you can read. You can't read any books on Twitch. You can read public domain books. So you can read any books that was published before 1923, or any books that are the author has died in the last 70 years. And there's actually Project Gutenberg. Where you can there's a whole database basically. You can Google, not Google. You can look. You can search up books, and they have a bunch of different categories on there too. You can look at too. It's very, very helpful. There's I need to get some Jules Verne books because I feel like you guys would really like those books. So I need to get some of his books. Okay, we have fine Rio. I proved you wrong. We have made it to chapter 5. How long is this chapter? They might add a chapter 6 to it. It's a short chapter. I don't remember if this is a short chapter. We may be adding a chapter 6 to it. It's only been 2 hours. Okay, don't. Okay. I'm not going to say we will be reading chapter 6. We might read chapter 6, depending on how this chapter goes. Okay. Chapter 5. Mother, mother, I am so happy, whispered the girl, burying her face in the lap of the... Oh, I remember reading this chapter. Burying her face in the lap of the faded, tired-looking woman who, with back turned to the shrill intrusive lights, was sitting in one armchair that their dingy sitting room contained. I am so happy, she repeated, and you must be happy too. Good genre to read. Wait, what is that? Oh, I think I know what that is. What do you mean technically I could read it? Oh. I am not reading that on Twitch. Or reading that in general. I don't know. What are you thinking? Mrs. Vane winced and put her thin, bismuth whitened hands on her... Oh, okay. Why is she whitening her skin? Wendy, you don't even use your special channel point button to introduce yourself? Another question? What's your question? Yeah, use it, Wendy, in Game of Thrones. Unfortunately, it is not public domain. Since it's under copyright. But sadly it's not. I would read Game of Thrones on stream if it wasn't. Also, I feel like that's not, like, amazing content. Not amazing. It is amazing content. It's not... I wouldn't say... The content of it can be very, inappropriate sometimes. Do you guys have a... No! No! We're just gonna ignore all of what Winter said just then. Shadow Legion, the Gutenberg Project, you could search that. It, has all the public domain books on there, or you can just search public domain books, you know, it's one of the first things to pop up, if you want to go through that. Thank you for the follow, I really, really appreciate it.
Homerog67 followed your channel.
Real Axe is acting like an automated bot right now, I'm sorry, Rio, but it's so funny. Now I am 12 followers away from 100 followers. It's not like I've never... Hey, how are you? I am doing amazing now. I've gotten a couple followers in this stream. It's amazing. And I am very off topic. We are supposed to be reading, and I just keep getting distracted. But I literally put, feel free to chat. So it's really my fault. But I love chatting, and I get distracted very easily now. No, it is not that I'm aware of, because I think they made, like, a show, right? Capture updates? I wonder... Probably do think we're weirdos. Oh, you know Wendy? You know Wendy? He's acting a bit silly. Okay. Rio, what do you mean capture update? Mrs. Vane winced and put her thin, bismuth whitened hand on her daughter's head. Happy, she echoed. I am only happy, Sybil, when I see you act. I must not think of anything but your acting. Mr. Isaac has been very good to us, and we owe him money. The girl looked up and pouted. Money, mother? She cried, what does money matter? Love is more than money. Mr. Isaac has advanced us £50 to pay off our debts, and is to get us proper outfits for James. You must not forget... that makes sense. He just kind of streams whenever. Oh, tomorrow, possibly. What are you gonna be streaming? Oh, chapter update. We are on chapter 5, finally. Finally, we are. Wendy wanted to do the windy noise. I thought I just heard it twice for a second. What do you mean no answer to them, not me? Wait, what? Are you talking about Wendy? That, Sybil, 50 pounds is a very large sum. Mr. Isaac's been most considerate. He is not a gentleman, Mother, and I hate the way he talks to me, said the girl, rising. Oh, what is that? What book are we reading? We are reading, the picture of Dorian Gray, which is in the title of the video, of the stream. My favorite book. It wasn't, published in 18-something. It was published in 1890. Oh, did I miss any other chats? Yeah, we are trying to read. And I hate the way he talks to me, said the girl, rising to her feet and going over to the window. I don't know how you could possibly manage without him, answered the elderly woman querulously. Are you on a Discord call while I'm streaming?
Will you give him a drink
No!
of water, for Christ's sake?
Okay. I say no and then I immediately drink water. I don't know how we would manage without him, answered the elder woman querulously. Sybil Vane tossed her head and laughed. We don't want him anymore, Mother. Prince Charming rules life for us now. Then she paused. A rose shook in her blood and shadowed her cheeks. Quick breath parted in the petals to her lips. They trembled. Some southern wind of passion swept over her and stirred the dainty folds of her dress. I love him, she says. My voice, you can definitely tell my voice is hating me now. What? Foolish child, was that parrot phrase flung in answers. The waving of crooked, false-jeweled fidgets gave the grotesqueness. I don't think I've ever heard the word grotesqueness. The girl laughed again. The joy of a caged bird was in her voice. Her eyes caught the melody and echoed in radiance, then closed for a moment as though to hide it in their secrets. When they opened, the mist of the dreams had passed across them. Thin-lipped wisdom spoke at her from the worn chair, hinted at prudence, quoted from the books on cowardness. Those offers aped the names of common sense. She did not listen. She was free in her prison of passion. Her Prince Charming was with her. She was called on memories to remake him. She had sent her soul to search for him, but it had brought him back. His kiss burned again upon her lips. Her eyelids were warm with his breath. Then wisdom altered in methods and spoke in especial and discovery. The young man must be rich. If so, marriage should be thought of. Against the shell of her ears broke the wave of wordless cunning. The arrows of craft shot by her. She saw the thin lips moving and smiling. Wait, what? What do you mean he said what? Oh, okay. Where did we leave off? Suddenly she felt the need to speak. The wordy silence troubled her. Mother, mother, she cried. Why does he love me so much? I know why I love him. I love him because he is like what love himself should be. And what does he see in me? I am not worthy of him, and yet, why? I cannot tell. Though I feel so much beneath him, I don't feel humble. I feel proud, terribly proud, Mother. Did you love my father as I love Prince Charming? The elderly woman grew pale beneath her coarse powder that dubbed her cheeks, and her dry lips twitched with a spasm of pain. Sybil rushed to her, flung her arms around her neck, and kissed her. Forgive me, Mother. I know it pains you to talk about our father, but it only pains you because you loved him so much. Don't look so sad. I am as happy today as you were 20 years ago. Let me be happy forever. I don't know why forever was split into 2 words. My child, you are far too young to think of falling in love. Besides, what do you know about this young man? I don't even know his name. The whole thing is most inconvenient. And really, when James is going away to Australia, I have... Australia? Okay. I have so much to think of. I must say that you should have shown more consideration, however, as I said before, if he is rich... Ah, Mother, let me be happy. What is your question? Mrs. Vane glanced up at her with one of those false theatrical gestures that so often become a modus of second nature of a stage player. I clasped her in her arms. At this moment, the door opened, and a young lad with rough brown hair came into the room. He was thick set of figures, and his hands and feet were large and somewhat clumsy in movements. He was not so finely bred as his sisters. One would hardly have guessed the close relationship that existed between them. Mrs. Vane set her eyes on him and intensified her smile. What is her opinion? I do not know what that is. I mean, yes. What? You need me... Okay, do you want to send it to me right now and I can watch it right now? What is it? Or is it like... something I need to watch off stream? Like, what is it? I'm waiting for her response. It's a whole show? Oh, if winter... Okay. The name confused me. Okay. I have no opinion on it so far, but if Winter likes it, I will look into it. That was like the first question you ask is just that, and I was so confused for a second. You said, okay, I'll watch the little teaser that Winter is sending me right now. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it though. It's on my second monitor, so I don't think you guys will be able to hear it. Yeah, you won't be able to hear it because it's not on that monitor. Let's see. We're waiting for whatever this is. Okay, while we're waiting for that, I'm just gonna continue reading until I see it pop up. Oh no, what is this? Fatal error? Oh, that looks really cool.
Will you give him a drink of water?
Okay. Oh, you can hear it? I'll turn that down for you, I'm sorry. I don't know why you can hear it. Because, like, it's on my second monitor. That's a bit odd. It does look really cool. Sorry, I don't know how loud that was. I'm so sorry. Wait. Okay. Did I drink water just now? I don't remember. Okay. Wait. I just missed the prediction that... Will she get... I did get to chapter 5! Why did 60? Okay, I'm not... Okay. Only 33% of you said I would make it to chapter 5. Who said I wouldn't make it to chapter 5? I can't check... I can't click on the voters! No! Okay, never mind. I don't have a Twitter. I have a TikTok, and I have a YouTube, and I have my donation link. Okay. Oh, are you talking to... Okay, never mind. I think I'm talking to Michael right there. I wonder who it is. What? I'm confused. I wonder who it is. This is why I never get any work done. Where do we leave off? Mrs. Vane glanced at her with one of those false theatrical gestures so often became a mode of second nature to a stage player. Clasped over her arms, at this moment the door opened, and the young lad, with rogue blonde brown hair, came into the room. He was a thick set of figures, and his hands and feet were large and somewhat clumsy in movement. He was not so finely bred as his sisters. I already read this part. One would hardly have guessed the close relationship that existed between them. Mrs. Vane fixed her eyes on him and intensified her smile. She mentally elevated her son in the dignity of an audience. She felt sure that the taboo was interested. Taboo. It's like taboo and an ooh sound at the end. It was the one who put... Well, I did make it to chapter 5. I'm in chapter 5 right now. Oh, that's what I was... That's what you're saying. Okay, I was confused for a second. You might keep some kisses for me, Sybil, I think, said the lad. Oh, that's kind of odd. With a good-natured grumble. But you don't like being kissed, Jim, she cried. You are a dreadful old bear. And she ran across the room and hugged him. James Vane looked at his sister's face with tenderness. I want you to come out with me for a walk, Sybil. I don't suppose I shall ever see this horrid London ever again. I am sure I don't want to. My son, don't say such dreadful things, murmured Mrs. Vane, taking up a trotty theatrical dress. With a sigh and beginning to patch it, she felt a little disappointed that he had not joined the group. It would have interested the theatrical picturesqueness of the situation. Why not, Mother? I mean, you paid me, my son. I trust you will return from Australia in a position of affluence. I believe there is no society of any kind in the colonies. Nothing that I would call society. So when you made your fortune, you must come back and assert yourself in London. Society? Mother, okay, I need to work on me saying the words in the right tone. Society, muttered the lad. I'm gonna sneeze again. The feeling's in my nose. I don't know if I'm gonna sneeze, actually. And it went away again, as it did earlier. Where did I leave off? Okay, society, muttered the lad. I did it again. But we're just gonna skip over it. I need to work on my tone. Okay. I don't want to know anything about that. I should like to make some money and take you and Sybil off the stage. I hate it. Oh, Jim, said Sybil laughingly. How unkind of you, but you are really going for a walk with me? That'll be so nice. I'm afraid you were going to say goodbye with some of your friends, to Tom Hardy, who gave you the hideous pipe, or Ned Langdon, who made fun of you for smoking it. It is very sweet of you to let me have the last afternoon. Where shall we go? Let's go to the park. I am too shabby, he answered, frowning. Only swell people go to the park. Nonsense, Jim, she whispered, stroking the sleeve of his coat. He hesitated for a moment. Very well, he said at last, but don't be too long dressing. She glanced down at the front door. One could hear her singing as she ran upstairs. Her little feet pattered overhead. He walked up and down the room 2 or 3 times, then asked the still figure in the chair, Mother, are my things ready? He asked. Quite ready, James, she answered, keeping her eyes on the words. What is Wendy doing? What is he doing? Quite ready, James, she answered, keeping her eyes on her work. For some months past she had felt ill at ease when she was alone with this rough, stern son of hers. Her shallow, secret nature was troubled when their eyes met. She used to wonder if he suspected anything. The silence, as he made no other observations, became intolerable to her. She began to complain. Women defend themselves by attacking. They just attack by sudden and strange surrenders. I hope you will be contented, James, with your seafaring life, she said. You must remember this is your own choice. You might have enticed a solicitor's office. Solicitors are a very respectable class. In the country, often down with the best families. Okay. I love the old Marvel movies. The new ones, okay, so I haven't actually watched all the new ones, but I felt like it was going good up to, Loki. And I may or may not have a whole, like, case of comics in the other side of my room. I literally predicted the entirety of one. No, it's not. I know it's not a movie, but I basically predicted the entirety of WandaVision based on the comics and the trailer. You should have saw me. I was literally the TV's right there, and I was just like stopping the trailer every like 2 seconds to like explain something else that's on the screen. It was so funny. The only thing is, I was definitely wrong about Mephisto, though. I was convinced Mephisto was going to be in the show, and he was not. I have been more of a, the Fox Marvel movies instead of the MCU movies recently. But I also I love the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies. He's, like, the best Spider-Man, but not the best Peter Parker. I honestly feel like it's hard to... Okay, I could talk about this for hours. I don't know if you want to hear me talk about this while we're supposed to be reading. But, yeah, I can go on a whole rant about Marvel movies right now. I've been trying to get more into the DC movies recently. I absolutely love the Young Justice movies with DC. Because I always watch the animated series, and then they made... Yeah, I'm confused. They're talking about their server, I'm assuming. Because they're not doing anything in my chat. Anyway, I do love the Young Justice movies. I think there's like 3 of them, I believe. I really like the art style of them. I want to have a little binge watch all of the, like, I can't binge watch all the DC movies, there's way too many. The newer ones, let's say the newer ones. The Curse of Those Who Have Read Comics and Books. Yes, exactly. Sometimes I wish I didn't read the comics, but also at the same time, like, I like knowing what's going to happen. I don't like spoilers, but I also want to know what's going on, which is a weird mix. Like, I like predicting what's going on, but not 100% sure what's going to happen, opposed to knowing exactly what's going to happen because of spoilers. I don't know if that makes sense or not, though. Okay, I just try to get back in this book. I hope you will be contented, James, with your seafaring life. She said, You must remember that it is your own choice. You might have entered a solicitor's office. I already went past that. Basically kick him from starting a mission when I wasn't ready. We're doing war for him. I figured it was gonna be something like that. I hate offices and I hate clerks, he replied. But you are quite right. I have chosen my own life. All I have to say is, watch over Sybil. Don't let her come to any harm, Mother. You must watch over her. James, you really talk very strangely. Of course I watch over Sybil. I hear a gentleman comes every night to the theater and goes behind to talk to her. Is that right? What's about that? You are speaking about things you don't understand, James. In this profession, we are accustomed to receive a great deal of most gratifying attention. I myself used to receive many bouquets at one time. That was when acting was really understood. As for Sybil, I do not know at present whether her attachment is serious or not. There is no doubt the young man in question is a perfect gentleman. He is always most polite to me. Besides, he has always the appearance of being rich. He has the appearance of being rich, and the flowers he sends are lovely. You don't know his name, though? He said harshly. No, answered his mother. with a placid expression on her face. He has not yet revealed his real name. I think it's quite romantic of him. He is probably a member of the aristocracy. Where's that? Aristocracy? I don't know why I can't pronounce that word right now. James Van bit his lips. Watch for Sybil, mother, he cried. Watch over her. My son, you distress me very much. Sybil's always under my special care. Of course, if this gentleman is wealthy, there is no reason why she should not contract an alliance with him. I trust he is one of the aristocracy. I just butcher some words in here. I love how this room has been devolved into cozy vibes with sparks of chaos. I like that too, but sometimes it's like, I don't know. It's like a good mix right now. I know. I love this book. This is my favorite book. I love this book so much. I actually haven't read this version of it. I have read this version of it. So I like picking apart different editions of it, trying to figure out like what the differences are in. I have not read this book in a couple years though, so I haven't been able to pick it apart too much. But I do also have the uncensored edition. I already asked my opinion on Marvel movies. I have the uncensored picture of Dorian Gray also. Now, this is not what he looks like. He has blonde hair. I don't know why it's dark hair. You already asked my opinion on Marvel movies. It's the same opinion last time. Where did we leave off? He has all the appearance of it, I must say. It might be the most brilliant marriage for Sybil. They would make a charming couple. His good looks are really quite remarkable. Everyone notices them. The lad muttered something to himself and drummed on the window pane with the coarse fingers. He just turned around to say something when the door opened and Sybil ran in. How serious you both are, she cried. What is the matter? Nothing, he answered. I suppose one must be serious sometimes. Goodbye, mother. I will have my dinner at 5 o'clock. Everything is packed except for my shirts, and you have no need to trouble. Goodbye, my son, she answered with a bow of strange stateliness. She was extremely annoyed by the tone that he had adopted with her. There was something in his looks that made her feel afraid. Kiss me, mother, said the girl. Her flower-like lips touched the withered cheeks. A straw hit my tooth. My child, cried Mrs. Vane, looking up the ceiling in search of an imaginary gallery. Come, Sybil, said your brother impatiently. He hated his mother's affection. You tell me the name of the book. I'm interested, but for some reason, it's like reading out of a mirror. Yeah, it's in the title. It's The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. Yeah, it is a very shiny copy. And it has little gold little pages. I really like it. It's also in the tags also. They went in the oh, thank you, you're welcome. They went on the flickering wind-blown sunlight and strolled down the dreary Austin Road. The passer-bys glanced in wonder at the sullen, heavy youth, who, in coarse, ill-fitting clothes, was in the company of such a graceful, refined-looking girl. He was like a common gardener walking with a rose. Jim frowned from time to time when he caught the inquisitive glances of some strangers. Thank you, I really appreciate the follow.
MRBOBJLO, follow your channel.
You should be able to find it in your local library. It's a very popular classic book, I believe. Like, I feel like it's one of books when I think of classic books. This is like one of the ones I think of most. And I also feel it's a very beginner-friendly classic book, in my opinion. I don't know. Besides 1984, and I believe this, and obviously Animal Farm, but yeah. I need to read more of his books. I don't have any other of his books though right now. But I also love this. I have written so many essays on this book. I wish I still had them. I need to. I want to write essays more for fun. Last time I wrote essays, I was actually in. It was for a school. But oh my gosh, it just got knocked to the side. But I actually kind of want to write essays for fun now. I don't know why. Sounds like a perfect time to. Yes. So I did this. I also said this earlier. Project Gutenberg is like, I'm blanking on what it's called. Oh, public domain classics. Yes. I don't know what I was gonna go off and say it myself, but like I had to look back at the comment. Yes, like they have. It's like basically, I don't know how to describe it, but it's an amazing website. I was literally scrolling through there for like 2 hours the other day. It's so cool. I think it's a really cool resource to use. Especially, I don't remember who it was. I think it was Shadow that was mentioning it earlier. I was asking like what books you could read on Twitch. Any public domain books you can read, which is any book published before 1923, or any book that the author has died after 70 years. But it's basically like I don't know if encyclopedia is the right word, but has every book on there basically. And this, for example, this book was published in 1890. Ow. I'm just gonna ignore that. My nose hurts now. Hurry up. Okay, now I have to wait. I'm 11 followers away from 100. I'm gonna say this every single time someone follows me. I'm gonna bring the number down 1, because that's what number down is. Okay, while he's doing that, I'm gonna find where I left off. Okay, I found it. He had the dislike of being stared at, which comes on geniuses later in life and never leaves the commonplace. Sybil, however, was quite unconscious to the effects that she was producing. Her love was tremulous in laughter under her lips. She was thinking of Prince Charming, and that she might think of him all the more. She had not talked to him. Me looking up made me lose my place again. She did not talk to him, but prattled about the ship in which Jim was going to sail, about the gold he was certain to find, and the wonderful heiress whose life he was about to save from the wicked, red-shirted bushrangers. For he was not to remain a sailor, or a supercargo, or whatever he was going to be. Oh no, a sailor's existence was dreadful. Fancy being cooped up in a horrid ship, with the hoarse, bumback waves trying to get in, and the wind blowing the masts down and tearing the sails into long scrambling ribbons. He was to leave the vessel at Melbourne, bid a polite goodbye to the captain, and go off at once to the Golden Flecks. Before a week was over, he had come across a large nugget of pure gold, the largest nugget had ever been discovered, and bring it down to the coast in a wagon guarded by 6 mounted policemen. The bushrangers were to attack them 3 times and be defeated with immense slaughter. Oh no, he was not to go in the gold fields at all. They were horrid places where men got intoxicated and shot each other in barrooms. They used bad language, and he was so nice, and was to be a nice sheep farmer. Mayhaps, yes, mayhaps. Perhaps. Or mayhaps, perhaps, I don't know. Nick is live? Nick is live. Okay, we are raiding Nick again. I raided him yesterday, but, he deserves all the raids. He deserves all the raids. He's not even... Yes, he's also very close to affiliates. Winter, if you were live, I would raid you. But we are like live at very different times. Oh, he wasn't here he wasn't here earlier. Hopefully he's not lurking while he's streaming. Nick, if you hear this, I'm sorry. Maybe I will. How many more pages is this? Okay, I think unfortunately we only have a couple pages left, but on this pace, I feel like this will have to be the last chapter for tonight. And it goes with my title, which the title is from chapter 3 to 5. So, we have like 6 pages left-ish. Not even good. And one evening, he was riding home. He was to see the beautiful heiress being carried off by robbers on a black horse, and get chase and rescue her. Oh no. Of course, she would fall in love with him, and he was with her, and they would get married and come home and live in an immense house in London. Yes, there was delightful things in store for him, and he must be very good, and not lose his temper or spend his money foolishly. She was only a year older than he was, but she knew so much more of his life. He must be sure also to write to her every mail, and say his prayers every night before he went to sleep. God was very good, and would watch over him. She would pray for him too. In a few years he would come back quite rich and happy. The lad listened sulkily to her and made no answer. He was heartsick at leaving home. Yet it was not alone that okay, sorry for saying this off topic. I was supposed to have my chat on my screen. I don't know why it's not doing that, so I'm sorry about it. I was trying to figure out how to do my chat on my screen. It's not working. I might swap to using Streamlabs to use my alerts and stuff, so some of my alerts might change soon, within like a week. Cause I think maybe that's the issue, because the chat is on Streamlabs, but then all my other alerts are on sound alerts, so that might be the issue. Okay, sorry, I just thought about that, and I wanted to say it, because I know when I mentioned to Winter about something earlier about that.
Will you give him a drink of water for Christ's sake?
Okay. Okay. Yet it was not this alone that made him gloomy and morose. Inexperienced though he was, and he had still a strange sense of the danger of Sybil's position. This young dandy who was making love to her could mean her no good. He was a gentleman, and he hated him for that. Hated him through some curious race instinct for which he could not account, for which the reason was all more dominant within him. That sounds familiar. I do not have that book, but that does sound very, very familiar, though. He was conscious also in the shallowness and vanity of his mother's nature, and in that saw infinite peril for Sybil and Sybil's happiness. Children begin by loving their parents. As they grow older, they judge them. Sometimes they forgive them. His mother, he had something on his mind to ask her, something that he had brewed in for many months in silence. A chance phrase that he had heard in the theater, a whispered sneer that had reached his ears one night, and he waited on the stage door, had set a loose train of horrible things. He remembered it as if he was being lashed at a hunting crop across the face. Wait, Winter? Is he streaming Fallout 76? Or is he streaming Fallout New Vegas? His brows knit together like a wedge of furrow. In a twitch of pain, he bit his under lip. "You are not listening to a word I am saying, Jim," cried Sybil, and I am making the most delightful plans of your future. Do you say something? What do you want me to say? Oh, that will be a good boy, not forget. Oh, and you will be a good boy, not forget us," she answered, smiling at him. He shrugged his shoulders. "You are most likely to forget me than I am to forget you, Sybil." She flushed. "What do you mean, Jim?" she asked. "You have a new friend, I hear. Who is he? Why have you not told me about him? He means you no good." "Stop, Jim," she exclaimed. "You must not say anything against him. I love him." "Then why do you even know his name?" answered the lad. "Who is he? I have a right to know." "He's called Prince Charming." "Don't you like the name? Oh, you silly boy, you should never forget it. If you only saw him, you would think of him the most wonderful person in the world. Someday you'll meet him, when you come back from Australia. You'll like him very much. Everybody likes him, and I love him. I wish you could come to the theater tonight. He was going to be there, and I am going to play Juliet. Oh, how shall I play it? Fancy, Jim? I am in love. Oh, to be in love and play Juliet. To have him sitting there, to play for his delights. I am afraid I may frighten your company, frighten or enthrall them, or to be in love to surpass oneself. Poor dreadful Mr. Isaacs will be shown a genius as his loafers at the bar. He has preached me as a dogma. Tonight he will be announced me as a revelation. I feel it and it is all his only, Prince Charming, my wonderful lover." Hi! Hi! Hi, Lisa, Mommy. Hello. So I got very excited when I saw you in my chat. We are in chapter 5. Oh, he's not straight. Wait, Winter, what were you saying no to? We are in chapter 5. Ow, I just hit myself with the glass in my... We are in chapter 5, and this is my favorite book. You should really read it. I will always tell people to read this book. No! No! Okay. Yeah. I know, I love this cover. It's so pretty, and this gold pages. I think this is like the 5th time I've shown this book, but I will keep showing this book. I also have the uncensored one, and my first copy I've read, which is the Cloth on Penguins edition. I love the peacocks, what's the right word? Imagery, no. Is imagery the right word? I think imagery is the right word. Thank you! Thank you for the follow. Oh, we're 10 followers away from 100! We are 10 followers. We've gotten like 6 followers during this stream? This is crazy. There's also a movie. There's also a movie of it. I haven't watched it, surprisingly. But, oh, I'm blanking on his name. He's a fan cast for Sirius Black. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name. I'm Googling it. Shadow and Bone. He's in Shadow and Bone. Where's the actor? Load, please. Ben Barnes! That's who it is! That's who it was! Okay, yeah. Ben Barnes plays, Dorian Gray in the movie. My one, gripe with it is that he does not have blonde hair. But that is fine. That's fine. That's the only thing I have an issue with. And that's fine. He is the epitome of Dorian Gray in every other aspect. So that's fine. But I don't know why I could not think of what his name was. But okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Where do we leave off? I wish you could come to the theater tonight. He's going to be there, and I'm going to play Juliet. Oh, how I shall play it. Fancy, Jim, I'm in love, and I play Juliet. Oh, to be in love and play Juliet. Oh, how should I play it? Fancy, Jim? To be in... Why did I reread that? Sorry. To have him sitting there to play for his delight, I am afraid I may frighten the company, frighten or enthrall them. To be in love is to suppress one's own self. Poor dreadful Mr. Isaacs will be shut-in genius at his loafers at the bar. He has preached me as a dogma, tonight will announce me as a revelation. I feel it, and it is all his, only his, Prince Charming.
Give him a drink of water for Christ's sake.
Okay. I feel it, and it is all his only, Prince Charming, my wonderful lover, my god of graces. But I am poor beside him. Poor? What does that matter? What poverty creeps at the door? Love flies in through the window. Our proverbs want rewriting. They were made in winter, and it is summer now. Springtime for me, I think. A very dance of blossoms and blue skies. We only started this 2 days ago. We are like a quarter in. No, like a third in, somehow, already. I'm used to the thick books I've been reading. I read The Poppy War, and I'm also reading, you should add sound alerts for meme. What meme?
Hello, how are you? I am under the water. Please help me. Here too much reading.
We are on, there is, how many pages are in this? There's 239 pages. I'm used to like 600 page books. I have to go, my cat wants to sleep. We'll have a good stream, Yes, this is very, I forgot how, I wish that, Oscar Wilde, I blanked on his name for a second. I wish Oscar Wilde written more novels. This is only a novel. He written short stories. This is only a novel. What chapter are we leaving off on? 5. We have a couple pages left. I keep getting distracted. But I am poor beside him. Poor? What does that matter? When poverty creeps up in the door, love flies through in the window. Our proverbs have already read that part. He's a gentleman, said the lad suddenly. A prince, she cried musically. What more do you want? He wants to enslave you. I shudder at the thought of being free. I don't know why I thought that was funny. I want you to beware of him. To see him is to worship him. To know him is to trust him. Sybil, you are mad about him. Oh, you are back. Hello. What were you saying? Wait, you should add it. Sorry. You said you should add a sound alert for meme. What do you mean meme? Explain. You laughed and took his arm. You dear old Jim. You talk as if you were 100. Someday you'll be in love with yourself, and you will know what it is. Don't look so sulky. Don't look so sulky. Surely you should be glad to think that, though you are going away to leave me happier than I have ever been before. I should do that. I should really do that. Winter, can you please remind me? I will hop in the VC with you after the stream. After we raid Nick. We are raiding Nick. He is not a book reader person, but he is so close to affiliate, so we are gonna raid him. Surely you should be glad to think that, though you are going away to leave me happier than I've ever been before. Life has been hard for both of us, terribly hard and difficult, but it will be different now. You are going to a new world, and I've found one. Here are your 2 chairs. Let us sit down and be the smart people go by. No! Okay, never mind. Oh, you can just go do... Okay, I'll go to my server. They took their seats amidst a crowd of watchers. No, we went... I skipped like 2 whole lines. Life has been hard for both of us, terribly hard and difficult, but it will be different now. You are going to a new world, and I have found one. There are 2 chairs. Let us sit down and see the smart people go by. They took their seats amidst a crowd of watchers. A tulip bed across the road flamed like throbbing rings of fire. A white dust, tremulous clouds of orris root, it seemed, hung in the panting air. A brightly colored parasol danced and dipped like monstrous butterflies. She made her brother talk to himself in hopes his prospects. He spoke slowly with his efforts. They passed words to each other as players of the game of pass counters. Sybil felt oppressed. She could not communicate her joys. The faint smile curved in that sullen mouth was all the echo she could win. After some time she became silent. Suddenly she got a glimpse of golden hair and laughing lips. In an open carriage with two ladies, Dorian Gray drove past. She stared at her feet. There he is. She cried, "Who?" said Jim Vane. I do like the Ratatouille movie. I do really like that movie. You just ask me random movie questions. I like the questions, by the way. But I think it's funny. Who said Jim Vane? Prince Charming, she answered, looking up to the Victoria. He jumped up and seized her roughly by the arm. "Show him to me. Where is he? Point him out. I must see him," he exclaimed. By that moment, the Duke of Berwick, four in hand, came between. When they had left the clear space and carriage had swept out to the park. "He is gone," mumbled Sybil sadly. "I wish you had seen him." "I wish I had, but sure there is a God in heaven. If he ever does you wrong, I shall kill him." She looked at him in horror. He repeated the words and cut the air like a dagger. The people around began to gape. A lady standing close to her tittered, "What?" Okay. Three pages left. Are we ever gonna get to it? I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll find out. "Come away, Jim, come away," she whispered. He followed her dodgingly as she passed through the crowd. He felt glad at what he'd said. I'm gonna say Pac-Man. I don't know if that's what you're trying to go for. When they reached the Achilles statue, she turned around. There was pity in her eyes and became laughter on her lips, and she shook her head. "You are foolish, Jim, utterly foolish. A bad-tempered boy, that is all. How can you say such horrible things? You don't know what you're talking about. You are simply jealous and unkind. Ah, I wish you would fall in love. Love makes people good, and that's what you said was wicked." "I am 16, he answered, "and I know what I am about. Mother has no help to you. She doesn't understand what I look after you. I wish now that you are not going to Australia after all. I have a great mind to chuck the whole thing up. I would if my articles hadn't been signed. I don't think I heard if you said what chapter you would." We are leaving off on chapter 5. I have watched Meet the Robinsons. Wait, that's the movie with the, where they go in the future, right? I really like that movie. If it's that movie, then yes, I really like that movie. Oh, don't be serious, Jim. You are like one of those heroes of those silly little melodramas Mother used to be so fond of acting in. I'm not going to quarrel with you. I have seen him. And oh, to see him as a perfect happiness. You won't quarrel. I know you would never harm anyone I love, would you? Not as long as you love them, I suppose, was the sullen answer. I shall love him forever, she cried, and he? Forever, too. He had better. She shrank up from him. When she laughed and put her hands on his arm, he was merely a boy. At the Marble Arch they exhaled an omnibus, which led them close to the shabby home of the Euston Road. And after 5 o'clock, and Sybil had lied down for a couple of hours before acting, Jim insisted that she should do so. And he had, sorry, but I can tell that my voice is hitting me now. He said that he would sooner part with her than when their mother was not present. She was sure that to make a scene, and he detested scenes of any kind. In Sybil's own room they parted. There were jealousy in the lad's heart, and a fiery murderous hatred for the stranger who, as it seemed to him, had come between them. Yet their arms were flung around his neck, and her fingers strayed through his hair. Wait, what? I don't remember this. I read it like 4 years ago. In Sybil's own room they parted, and there was a jealousy in the lad's heart and a fiery murderous hatred of a stranger who, as it seemed to him, had come between them. Yet when her arms were flung around his neck and his fingers strayed through his hair, he softened and kissed her with real affection. There were tears in his eyes downstairs. His mother was waiting for him below.
Christ's sake?
Okay, okay. His mother was waiting for him below. She grumbled at his unpunctuality, and as he entered, he made no answer, but sat down to his mingery meal. The flies buzzed around the table and crawled over the stained cloth. Through the grumble of omnibuses and the clatter of street cabs, he could hear the droning voice devouring each minute as they left to him. I'm back. Oh no, that means you get to just have to chat more. Yes, that is definitely a side effect of it. I think I got 7 followers in this stream. That's crazy. I just noticed that. No, we're going to keep off. He felt that it was the right to know, and it should have been told to him before as if it was suspected. Laden with fear, his mother would watch him. Words dropped mechanically from her lips, a tattered lace handkerchief twisted in her fingers. When the clock struck 6, he got up and went to the door. When he turned back to look at her, her eyes met, and in hers he saw a wild appeal for mercy. Enraged him. Mother, I have something to ask you, he said. Her eyes wandered vaguely around the room. She made no answer. Tell me the truth. I have the right to know. Were you married to my father? Oh no. I forgot you get more points with the more longer your... I think you're the one with the longest streak. Like, the longest stream streak in here. There's no way that someone has more, than you do. Unless they're, like, lurkers. Which, I love lurkers, by the way. I'm not saying that I don't like lurkers and that. Yeah. She heaved a deep sigh, and it was a sigh of relief. The terrible moment, the moment that night or day, for weeks, the moment that night and day, for weeks and months, she had dreaded had come to last, and she felt no terror. Indeed, some measure it was a disappointment for her. The vulgar directness of the question called for a direct answer. The situation had not been gradual led up to it. It was crude. It reminded her of a bad rehearsal. No, she answered, wondering at the harsh simplicity of life. My father was a scoundrel then, cried the lad, clutching his fist. She shook her head. I knew he was not free. We loved each other very much. If he had lived, he would have made provisions for us. Don't speak against him, my son. If he was your father, and a gentleman indeed, and he was highly connected. An oath broke from his lips. I don't care for myself, he exclaimed. Don't let Sybil. It is a gentleman, isn't it, who is in love with her? Or says he is? Highly connected too, I suppose. For a moment a hideous sense of humiliation came over the woman. Her head dropped, and she wiped her eyes and shaking hands. Sybil has a mother, she murmured. I had none. The lad was touched. He went towards her and stooped down to kiss her. I am sorry if I have pained you by asking about my father, he said, but I could not help it. I must go now. Goodbye. Don't forget what you said, that you're the only child now to look after. Don't forget you will have only one child to look after now. And believe me that if this man wrongs my sister, I will find out who he is, track him down, and kill him like a dog. I swear it. Soundboard should add like a meme. Never gonna give up. I wish I had like a sticky note with me right now too. I can go back in my chat after. I'll go back in my chat and write down everything. I'll write down everything. The exaggerated folly of the threat, the passionate gesture that accompanied it, and the melodramatic words made life seem more vivid to her. She was familiar with the atmosphere. She breathed more freely, and for the first time in many months, she really admired her son. She would have liked to have continued the scene on the same emotional scale, but he had cut her short. Trunks to be carried out, and the muffers looked for. The lodging house drudge bustled in and out. There was a bargaining with the cabman, and the moment was lost in vulgar detail. It was with a renewal feeling of disappointment that she was waved in tattered lace handkerchiefs from the window. As her son drove away, she was conscious that the great opportunity had been wasted. She had consoled herself by telling Sybil how desolate she felt her life would be. Now she had only one child to look after. She remembered the phrase, and it had pleased her of the threat that she had nothing. She was vividly and dramatically expressed. She felt that she would all laugh at it someday. Okay, we are unfortunately done. Okay. We will be reading Nick. I hope everyone has an amazing, amazing day. And please be nice to Nick. I unfortunately do not have a raid message per se, but you can say whatever you want as long as it is kind. Yes, let's find him. It's an Indian police. I will look at it. I will look at it in 1 second. Okay, now let's find him. Where is he? There he is. We have found him. Everyone, be nice. And I hope everyone has a great day. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.